SEC champion and two-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here is college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Monday Madness, as we call it here on the show. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope you guys are doing well. And hope you guys had a great weekend. Chase, I know we haven't seen you in a little bit. I know you had a couple of days off. You were a little busy, but glad to have you back behind the glass. Big thanks to Jackson. He filled in last week when you and Reed were out. Did a great job. We had some good conversations. SEC Media Days clearly took the charge, and we've talked plenty about that. Still a few things that we can dissect from that, which we will do, and we'll kind of gear up with training camp right around the corner. Believe we're probably a little over a week away, something like that. So definitely fired up about that. We got a little bit of this gap now. We I guess jumped the gun with SEC Media Days. It's like, hey, football's back. Kind of is not. We got a little bit of an intermission here, but really looking forward to getting closer and closer, because that's when everything really gets popping, just like the pads will be here shortly. So we'll talk about a number of things we didn't get to last week. I know a couple things maybe from Lane Kiffin. We never really discussed his time at the podium, which I know he mentioned a few different things. Of course, there's still plenty of clips and I guess quotes and just news from SEC Media Days regarding Alabama that we might have missed out on touching last week, because there was so much to talk about. I feel like we were going at a slow pace because we were diving in to so many different things. But also know, Chase, a few more things that we need to catch up on. Preseason all-conference list. We didn't get to touch that. I was going to do it on Friday. Pastor Payne joined us, and it got a little heated. If you guys missed that one, go back and watch Friday's show. That was a very entertaining back and forth, in my opinion. But we got to talk about this all-SEC preseason list here in a moment, Chase, because I want to say there was – I guess some expected names on there or in their places, because remember, they go first team, second team, and third team, right? So you have a chance to get a number of players on the list. We ended up with 6 in total, and I kind of want to talk about those players, maybe if there was any guys that we would consider snubs, maybe some confusion on where some guys were listed on the list. They made the list, but maybe we don't necessarily agree where they're at on the all-SEC preseason list, so we want to talk about that as well. And you know what's funny? We didn't even really dive too deep into just the projected, I guess, SEC finishes, right? Like in terms of ranking where teams will finish in the conference. I think we kind of skimmed over it. And I know, we've talked about it over the last week or so with different sites giving their, predictions, but I don't think we got into the official voted prediction, and that was Alabama finishing 6th in the conference. So maybe we'll touch on that here in a little bit. And of course, we always encourage you guys to get in on the conversation. If there's anything that you've seen, heard, that you want to discuss, you want to hear our thoughts on 205-342-9904 is the number if you want to jump on the phone lines. You can always join us on our streams, whether that's on YouTube, whether that's on X, Tide 100.9 Facebook page, my personal X, which is Christian M-I-L-L-R, my last name without the E. And you can drop your comments there, questions or concerns, and we'll talk about them, discuss them, and have some fun over the next 2 hours or so, like we typically do Monday through Friday right here on the Miller's Edge. Chase, good to have you back, man. How was your weekend, man? Talk to me.
It was good, Christian. Always good to hear from you and see you. But it was nice. I think a lot of things just kind of happened. I think the one thing that caught my mind, LeBron James going to the 76ers? That's what we're doing?
Chase, let me stop you real quick, because I noticed last week, so of course it's breaking news that LeBron James has selected his final destination, right? I mean, that's breaking news. We're talking about arguably the best basketball player of all time. In my opinion, he is. I know that's a debate. We can have that at another day, especially because I saw, Chase, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm going to let you finish here in a second, but it reminded me of something real quick that, listen, I need to do this reminder. So for anybody that's going and watching the playback on YouTube, or you're catching us live right now, maybe you're a little bit new here, just want to remind folks, I know we are pretty much 90% of the time we're covering Bama football, right? Or Bama content. We'll talk some Bama basketball. It's Alabama, right? But what happens, Chase, is I think people kind of get it confused with, you have all these Bama podcasts and content, right? Which I guess we fit in that category. But we also are just in the sports talk category, right? We are a sports talk radio show. So I saw somebody comment like, man, if I could get those 15 minutes back, the first 15 minutes, you talked about LeBron. Guys, like, you got to, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I hope you guys can understand. We can't talk Alabama football 100% of the time, like, because there might be one listener that only wants to hear Alabama football. And I get a lot of you guys want to hear that. But we have so many other listeners that might actually keep up with the NBA or keep up with Alabama basketball or want to talk about Alabama baseball when we're in the spring or softball, right? So just a reminder, like we're going to cover Alabama football probably 85, 90% of the time. We're going to touch on other SEC teams, especially during the season, here and there, especially teams that might cross paths with Alabama. And then when breaking news like LeBron freaking James, he makes his decision on his final stop, and it ends up being the 76ers, who he's going to pair with LeBaron Philon, Bama alum. So that gives us a little bit of a reason to kind of talk about the Sixers now. Just bear with us. And I'll just remind folks, you can always, on the replays, just skip ahead, right? Just skip ahead. So just, if we're talking about basketball, listen, Chase, you can vouch. We don't, it might be one segment, if that. You know how we are. We always navigate back to football. It might be one segment. So I just always wanted to remind folks. I saw that comment. I'm like, hey, man, we can't talk about that. We steer away from Bama football, Chase, for the first, and I always try to do it in the intro so we can kind of get it out the way, and then we can coast with football the rest of the way. But anyway, if you're watching the replay, skip ahead, right? But to be fair, you know what? I'll hold some accountability. Most of our thumbnails, they kind of more so just gravitating towards football anyway. So I get it. You might click on the video thinking it's only that. We are live sports talk radio. So we will dibble and dabble in other topics when they are deserving, like LeBron James choosing the 76ers. That said, I'm sorry, Chase. I did not mean to cut you off. Tell me what you think about it, because I know people are fired up saying this is arguably the best starting five in the league. Now, I think defense, team chemistry. I saw Magic Johnson tweet that I think everybody was kind of thinking that. How does this all come together? I'm sure it'll be fine, but that is a valid, I guess, question. But outside of that, you're talking about a starting five that has pretty much everything you need. What do you think about that, Chase?
I think it revives Philly in a way that they need this desperately. With the East getting better every single year, this is huge. Especially you have a head coach like Nick Nurse who won a championship with Toronto. I think it was like 2018. This is huge. I think LeBron with the IQ and I arguably think he's the greatest of all time as well, and just how he's able to incorporate his other teammates, especially how old he is. You want to capitalize on that. And then you have Joel Embiid. When he's healthy, he's one of the dominant centers in the league. And then Tyrese Maxey, one of the quickest guards who can literally make you turn heads left and right and has gotten better. And then one of the steals, I would say, of the offseason, Jaylen Brown leaving the Celtics to go to the 76ers. Like, there's so much firepower, so much length, and
Scoring,
you're right.
Ability.
There you go. It's just so many factors that the 76ers are just, they're good now. And just like if they can build their bench, they can give teams so many problems, and I just feel like the East is starting to be a threat again, because it used to be the West would just win every year. There wasn't like the East is competitive. I think the East is definitely up there, and I'm excited as an NBA fan.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I myself, I'm not even the biggest NBA fan. I'll be the first one to tell you that. But this type of news, it got me excited because it's like something to really look forward to, right? LeBron in the 76ers uniform, and it's his last ride. I guess technically he could come back for a second year, but he said it's his last decision. So regardless, this is his last team, and more than likely it's his last season. We'll see. Maybe he ends up throwing one more in there. They did the 2-year deal initially, at least. So I don't know. I just thought it was entertaining, of course, but you got to cover that. That's like breaking news. That's a big deal. Some other news that we have to cover: Alabama heating up on the recruiting trail. Only kicker is it's for 2028, not 2027. That's still kind of, is what it is, still wherever we're at in those rankings, if you keep up with that. But Alabama did, in fact, add themselves another really high-quality football recruit over the weekend, this time in Tyseer Young, the linebacker out of, I think it was Delaware, Chase. Yeah, Delaware. I did a little bit of a breakdown. I hadn't done any YouTube video breakdowns, but on our X, right, at the Miller's Edge, I'm trying to give a detailed kind of bullet point, scouting report on some of these guys. I'll do it on some of our college guys, of course, too. So make sure you guys follow us on X. But I'll talk about him in a little bit. Again, it's for the 2028 class, so I want to be clear. I mean, there's still a long ways to go. Hell, we're still figuring out the 2027 class. I know we're getting ready for football season, but there's still going to be movement there. This is a long ways out. The good news is it's looking pretty good, Chase. I want to say we have the most commits out of anybody in the country in terms of the number for 2028. Now, because of that, some of these rankings can be a little bit misleading, and I'll explain why that is, because I know a lot of people right now are like, yeah, look, people said Bama can't recruit. Look at them now. If you're just going off the number of commits you have for 2028, yeah, they are definitely proving some people wrong. However, you have to keep in mind those rankings are affected by the totals. And when you have more than double the amount of commits than everybody else, I mean, you automatically are going to be a top class. Not hating. That's just, again, we try to be objective. I saw a little bit misleading. Like, see, Bama's number 2 right now. We have 7 commits compared to like 3 for everybody else. Like that means something. And that's going to make us sit at the top no matter what right now. Plus, you got to secure these guys. And unfortunately, we all know how this business works, Chase. People are going to keep recruiting these guys. I mean, the linebacker we just had commit, and I'm going to talk about him when we come back. I mean, the young man chose us over Ohio State, Oregon. I don't think Texas was in there, but Georgia. I mean, some big hitters, big programs that have some money. Miami. You don't think they're going to throw some bags at him between now and signing day of 2028, over a year away? I got some news to tell you that you probably won't like. We got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling. We'll talk about Alabama's latest linebacker commit. We'll talk about some of these headlines from SEC Media Days. And, of course, we'll talk about what you guys want to talk about. 205-342-9904. And I'm going to get some water while you sit back, listen to a quick commercial break, and we'll come back rolling right here on this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC.
The winnings are coming. The winnings are coming. It's our $75,000 Stars and Stripes wheel.
Classes start August 12th. Learn more at UMG.
All right, I'm back. Here we go. Let's read some chats. Let's see what we got here. Let's do a little check-in real quick. Monday Madness, good morning. Army, what's up? Army being here early, man. I love it. I love the dedication, man. Almost a football season. Guessing will soon. Oh, the guessing will soon be over with. Absolutely. We won't be guessing. We'll be breaking down, analyzing things, calling it for what it is, good, bad, and ugly. Good, bad, or ugly. We got Jake. Oh, let me do that real quick. How's everyone today? Another good 28 get. Absolutely. We're going to talk about him in a minute. We'll talk about him in a second. We got QD in here. Y'all, these ice cream jokes, man. Listen, no ice cream trucks. Let them get comfortable being miserable in the heat. Stuff them up. I hate to let you guys down because I get everybody loves the ice cream truck jokes. However, I've told this story before. I'll just remind you guys. We used to be provided ice cream, like popsicle things during training camp. We used to have a break period in the middle of it. They would force us to go get in those, trailer, what do they call it? Like the trailer box or whatever that they've converted into like big old freezer things. And they pass out popsicles to cool our body temp down. And every Thursday, there was a popsicle business here in town that used to provide us like that wasn't to cool our body temp down during fall camp. That was literally like scientifically proven to lower body temperatures. Thursdays, they just gave us complimentary popsicles on the way out from the practice field. So we've been having popsicles and ice cream since Coach Saban was here. Now, we didn't have ice cream trucks like snow cone trucks or whatever you guys are referring to, pulling up and playing music, and you're picking, what is it, like the screwball ice cream or the SpongeBob one? I don't know if you guys really know what I'm talking about with like the ice cream truck ice cream, a little bit different than Bluebell. But yeah, anyway, we had ice cream. During Coach Saban, we had ice cream. Ken, what's up? Says Roll Tide. What's going on? We got Nick Harden. What's up, guys? We got the usuals in here early. I love it. We got Dan. What's up? What's up, C Mill? What's going on, Dan? We got Mike in here. What's up? What's up, everybody? Good breakdown on that linebacker we just recruited. Yeah, I'm going to mention that here on the show. Matter of fact, right now as we come back. And welcome back into this Monday Madness edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Chase, let's talk a little high school recruiting. And no, we're not going to dive into all these rankings and all that crap. No, we're going to break down a high school recruit, right? Like, I don't mind doing that, but I'm a little bit past the whole philosophies and this is what, like, man, listen, we'll see how it all works out. Hopefully it works out good, Chase. We'll have to see. But yeah, we can talk about that later down the road. We're going to kick that can to maybe closer to December when they actually is signing day, when we finalize things, unless anything else comes up like some big splash. But in terms of breaking these high school recruits down, I don't mind doing that when they're commits or, you know, there's a chance that we're, you know what I mean? Like we're about to land a guy or we just sign a guy. I'll definitely do that. So I had the pleasure of watching some tape on Alabama's latest four-star linebacker commit, Tyseer Young, out of Delaware, which is a very interesting spot, man. Delaware, I'll be honest, Chase, I don't know anything about Delaware personally. I mean, geographically speaking, I mean, I can tell you location, right? But in terms of players out of Delaware, what the high school football's like in Delaware, no idea. I can't tell you that. But what I can tell you is I like this young man. I like this recruit. Tyseer Young, he's listed mostly like at 6'2". I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I saw like Andrew Bone wrote an article on Yay Alabama, new subscriber here. It's only $5 a month. If you guys got it, give it a look. I know we had some news regarding Yay Alabama over the weekend. That's neither here nor there. So in terms of the articles they put out, and the content has been better. That's all I want to speak on that right now. Anyway, they had him listed at 6'3", 220, so that's what I went off of. Now, when you turn on the tape, which I'll go ahead and throw this on the screen, that way you guys watching, let me turn the music down because we do not want to have any issues with that. Boom, there it is. Watching this tape, man, there's a lot to like about this young man, Chase, starting off with just his ability to get after the quarterback, which he's being recruited as a linebacker. They see him as an off-ball linebacker, which makes sense if you're talking about his frame, right? 6'2", 6'3". I'm going to be honest with you. He's probably more in the 6'2" range. I haven't seen the young man in person, but I'm just saying 6'2" is – you're lacking some length, ideal length to really play on the edge. But in terms of his ability to get after the quarterback, you guys can see on the tape, man, the dude has some really good pass rush ability, man, a really good athlete. He's explosive. You'll see that he's a quick twitch guy, has really nice bend. His bend really stands out to me, right? His ability to really – I mean, he had a ghost rush where he just dips underneath the tackle, man, and he just flattens to the quarterback. I mean, this guy, he's got a really nice skill set to work with when it comes to getting after the quarterback. Now, I don't see him doing that full time at the next level in college. But what I could see happening is, to me, he reminds me of like has a similar prospect profile to guys like Jahad Campbell, maybe even Xavier Griffin. And the reason I say that is they have experience playing on the edge in high school. They're recruited more as an off-ball linebacker. So you view them in that same category where this guy on early downs probably can transition to playing more off-ball linebacker and then offer pass rush ability on third down, right? Because he's clearly demonstrating the ability to do that all over his high school tape. He could potentially develop into a full-time Wolf if he continues to add, more mass, more strength, and then depending on how his length checks out, right? He's listed at 6'2", 6'2 and a half, 6'3". Is he a legit 6'2"? Maybe a little bit shy of that. Maybe closer to 6'3". Maybe he's still growing. I don't know, right? It's still early. He's only going into his junior season, so there's a lot to see. But with his ability, I think he could play Wolf. It's just a matter of how he develops down the road. So we'll have to see how that goes. One other thing that I noted that I really liked about his tape, again, these are just highlights. As a pass rusher, a lot of times, man, a lot of guys, they lack rush awareness. And what I mean by that is understanding pass rush lanes, understanding countering at the level, right? If you're getting pushed past a quarterback or playing with 10, you're useless. This guy does a really nice job of sensing when he's getting past the level and countering back, right? Like, I know it seems like something simple, and that's something you can normally coach, but the fact that he's doing it at a young age, to me, tells me that he's got really nice rush awareness as it is. And even though you don't see many clips on tape of him playing off the ball, I think you can just tell by the athleticism that he flashes that he could be a sideline-to-sideline type linebacker when he is moved to playing off the football. I think this will provide versatility for him, meaning he could play multiple roles. We talked about it playing off ball linebacker in early downs, maybe moving to the edge more on passing downs, and maybe, depending if he fills out, play a little bit more on that early down. Just depends. But you're talking about utilizing this guy as a blitzer, as an off-ball backer, off the edge at times. I think he offers some really nice versatility, which we know Kane Womack really likes with his football players. I talked about him getting that added strength, filling out the frame, and gaining more experience off the ball. That'll be huge in terms of making that transition because playing edge and playing inside linebacker are two totally different worlds, right? I can speak on that. My dad can speak on that. I see he just joined the stream not long ago. It's totally different, right? So I don't know how much experience he has playing off the ball, but I can just tell you, if he is going to make that transition, run fits, right? Just learning how to flow with the football, reading, pulling guards. I mean, all that is totally different at those two spots, respectively. So that's going to be big in terms of his development. And then last but not least, I talked about his ability to play all three downs as he continues to develop and having that similar profile to Xavier Griffin, Jahad Campbell. I think that's very intriguing. That's probably why he was being recruited so highly by, Alabama, Ohio State, Miami, Georgia, right? I mean, he's got a really nice skill set. He looks to have a high ceiling in terms of just being a really good athlete, quick twitch guy, get after the quarterback, aggressive, great motor. I think this guy can probably line up and play and do a number of different things for you. And like I said, that's why these guys are becoming, hot commodities, right? The Micah Parsons, the Jahad Campbells, the Xavier Griffins. They're kind of like Swiss Army knives. You can kind of throw them in any defense and find a role for them, and they can be highly effective. So I really like Tyseer Young. Now, like I said earlier, last segment, this is 2028. So there's a long time until signing day for 2028, over like a year and a half almost, right? A lot can happen between here and then. The hope and the goal is to keep him on board. Will that happen? Time will tell. But when you're competing against Ohio State, Georgia, Miami this early for a young man, and you get in on them early, that definitely helps you out a lot. I think that's why Alabama's really going in early on these 2028 guys, because they knew 2027, they're behind. Now they're trying to really focus in on 2028, because when you get a head start with guys, it gives you a little bit of an advantage in terms of those relationships. However, at the end of the day, we know that relationships matter, but they don't matter nearly as much as they used to. And so personally, I would say I'd be a little concerned that he might not be here when it's all said and done, just given the teams that he already had recruited him. Not to sound pessimistic, I'm just being honest. But hopefully we can hold on to him, because I think he's a good-looking recruit, man. I like him a lot. I think he definitely's got a chance to be a really good football player and fits kind of what this defense is looking for in terms of that athleticism and versatility that he has to offer. That said, we're going to hit a timeout. Let me know what you guys think about Tyseer Young. If you're excited about this pickup, what do you think about the tape? We got it playing on the screen. What are your thoughts about him? We'll talk about that and respond to when we come back. Plus, we'll hear from the pastor of pain, the pastor of pain, when we come back, who's joined us as well, and dive into some more stuff like those preseason All-SEC lists, and we'll talk about our thoughts on that when we come back right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Yo. you figure that out. Let me read some of these chats real quick. Yep, Chase is back. Hold on, I can't hear you. You're muted. There you go. What's up? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I got my piece.
Jacory, what's up? Roll Tide. Sorry, I'm trying to get to these that I haven't got to. We got you, Kenji, in here. Happy Monday. Wait, who brought up Ryan Williams? Oh, I missed Crystal. Good afternoon. 40 days, almost there. Getting close. It's flying by. 40 days away.
Yeah, I saw Crystal at the cigar shop.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said she got to catch up with you.
Mm-hmm. God.
Jake said, "How was Ryan a first-team receiver?" Yeah, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this when we come back. Dan says, even with all the drops last year, Ryan's still on the road to being our top receiver ever. Whoa. I don't know if I can say top receiver ever. I'm not going to lie to you, Dan. You're my guy, Dan, but I don't know if I can say top receiver ever. Now, listen, you know us. We're big Ryan Williams advocates here. I believe in the potential, right? I understand he went through some lows last season, but the guy is a football player. We all know that, right? I mean, he's still young, right? He's only going to get better. But top receiver ever, Dan. Brother, you talking about Julio Jones. Talking about Amari Cooper. Devontae Smith. I mean, the list goes on, Dan. I mean, come on, Dan.
Go to my car.
Huh?
I'm going to go to the car because it's warm out here.
Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Waddle. I mean, those are just all recent. I mean, I'm not even getting into like the earlier guys, man. I don't know, Dan. I'm not gonna lie. He's got to have a hell of a year if we're going. You said top receiver ever, brother. We got. I mean, I need to see about 2K out of him. First person who had the worst performance at last week's SEC Media Days was Paul Feinbaum. Jay Money, what's up? Won't be bashing Grub today. Apathy starting to set in, and I'm in no position to remove him myself. So I just Jay Money, you're funny, man. Y'all are funny. Ken, what's up? Roll Tide. Let's see. Mario, what's up? Hey, listen, MJ for a lot of people is the GOAT. Me personally, I'm a LeBron guy. A lot of people probably agree with you, though. Lisa says, when it comes to Ryan Williams, only 3 receivers in Alabama history have more yards after the first 2 seasons. Devontae Smith is not one of them. I mean, listen, Ryan's got potential to be a top receiver, like, in program history. Like, there's no doubt about that. But I think if he's going to walk away with that title, either A, he needs to play the next 2 seasons here, or B, he's got to have like a Smitty type season this year, right? Like, I'm talking about like Smitty won the Heisman. Like, I mean, like, if you're talking about top receiver ever, I need to see something crazy like that. Because, I mean, I can go off the top of my head and just talk about like really good receivers. But top receiver ever, I don't know. And welcome back into this Monday Madness edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We just got done talking about Alabama's latest commit, Tyseer Young, 4-star linebacker in the 2028 class, not 2027, but really good prospect, a guy that I like a lot. I think adds a lot of value with everything that he can do on the football field, and love to see him in a Crimson Tide uniform someday. Long time till then, but we'll definitely be keeping up with, I guess, his recruitment along the way, and hopefully we hold on to him. All right, so in terms of all SEC preseason list, Chase, let's go ahead and throw this up on the screen. I want to talk about this. Meant to bring it up on Friday. Didn't even get a chance to do that. We've had so much to talk about. But these are the guys that were named to the all SEC preseason list. Again, this is just a preseason all SEC list. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't even know, like, does it mean anything like after the season? I don't think it really means anything, but you get some nice recognition early on. Oh, Pastor Payne, are you back with us? Or I don't see you, but I hear you.
I got the camera on.
Oh, okay,
I
got you.
just changed locales.
All right, cool.
But
All right.
listen, all this
Well,
preseason hype
wait. Well, let me
is.
read the list.
I don't even care about a list. I mean,
The
it
listeners
don't
care
matter.
about it. It does
It don't
matter.
matter. It don't. They can throw, and these guys go up here and they put names on here, first, second, third team, and be honest with you, it doesn't matter. Be an all SEC performer when everything is over. It's just like I said
100%.
about the rankings. Yeah, you can have a 5-star, 4-star, high 4-star, whatever. Be that when you finish playing. You know what I mean? I know it's good talking points. It's dead seasons, the doggy days of summer. I understand all of that, but really, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff. I mean, Manning, of course, is because he's up there because of his name, obviously not because of his play. Um, are you going to tell me he's better than Lenore Sellers? No, Lenore Sellers doesn't even get up there.
I mean, that's debate. That's debatable.
It ain't debatable.
That is debatable.
It's not debatable.
Dude, I'm not. Come on, listen. You talk about people sunshine pumping and crimson glasses, bro.
You might
be wearing some garnet glasses.
Pump, but I know I don't see both of them play.
You might be wearing some garnet glasses.
Is a much better. Yeah, he had a down year last year, 18-8, 2,500 yards. What this third? I mean, the dude third straight offensive coordinator in 3 years since he's been there. So I'm just saying that.
No, I'm not saying he's not. Wait. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. I like Lenore Sellers. I think he's much better than what we. I think he's much better than what we've seen out of him. But hold on.
High school, wherever he played.
Bro, no, you got garnet glasses on though. Come on now.
Hell, look, garnet on the chest. But adapt.
Yeah. You got garnet glasses on. Come on, man. Yeah. If you gonna hold Bama fans, that's first of all, these are their numbers. I know you listen. There's numbers. No. I'm just reading the numbers out because I'm just saying these are the numbers. 31, 63, 26 touchdowns and 7 interceptions for Arch Manning. 24, 37, 13, and 8 for Lenore Sellers. I mean, listen.
That was 18 and 8.
Okay, 13 passing touchdowns, and I'm sure there's probably 5 rushing touchdowns. I'm going off of the ESPN website. Listen, man, you got garnet glass. You literally have garnet glass, and they're like violet, but you got garnet glass.
So if you're starting a team right now, do you take Manning or do you take Lenore Sellers? And you got college, you got game experiences.
Right. Listen. Well, okay, that's a tough one because I do like Lenore Sellers. I mean, he's a big body, right? He's a big body bands, right? He got an arm on him. He can throw it. He can sling it. But I know he is hard to bring down. He can run. You can put that +1 quarterback package in there, right? We can get some hard fight yards with this guy, right? He can extend play. He's got a lot to like about him. But there's also some inconsistencies to his game. Arch Manning has been far from perfect. But I feel like Arch Manning's ceiling as a quarterback is a little bit higher than Lenore Sellers. Lenore Sellers can do a little bit more, but I think the ceiling for Arch Manning is a little bit higher. And I know some people aren't huge on Arch Manning because they still want to see a prove it type of thing. But if you watch the young man last year, by the end of the season, he had started playing a lot more like the Arch Manning we thought we would see. And I'm just saying, he's got guys like Cam Coleman to throw to this year. I mean, like, dude, he's got like all weapons galore. I mean, he's got 2 backs in Brown and Hollywood was Smothers, right? That they brought in that are, I mean, like they revamped their offensive line. I'm just saying everything is put in position for Arch Manning to have a heck of a year. So I understand why they had him above a guy like Lenore Sellers, right? As a matter of fact, let me just read the whole list since we're talking about everybody. But that's for 2025. I need 2026. We'll start with the Alabama players. First team, you had Bray Hubbard, DB. You had Xavier Brown, DB. And then you had Ryan Coleman Williams. This one was actually a shocker to many people. Ryan Coleman Williams was selected as a first-team wide receiver on the All-SEC preseason list. Second team, you had Michael Carroll, offensive lineman. I think that makes perfect sense, along with the first 2, right? And I'm glad Xavier Brown's getting him some love because he honestly has been very overlooked, in my opinion. I think he's one of the best corners, definitely in the conference, right? So it makes sense that he's on this first-team list, preseason, of course. And Bray Hubbard, he's a production machine, right? Very deserving as well. Third team, you had Keon Sabb and Yanze Pierre. A lot of people are confused about Yanze, and I get it. The problem is when it comes to classifying these edge players, they hit Yanze with how they did me, right? They had me as a linebacker, just like when I went to the combine. I was with inside linebackers. I play with my hand in the dirt more than I did standing up. So he got listed as a linebacker. If you look at the other edges, Prince who's now at LSU, Dylan Stewart, they were listed as defensive linemen. Regardless, I think Yonze probably could have at least been second team, whether it was D-line or something. But like I said, when he's listed with linebacker, he's in a pool of players that are a little bit different than the player he is. But I want to talk about Ryan Coleman-Williams as a first-team wide receiver. Because, I mean, even Bama fans were even a little shocked when they saw Ryan Coleman-Williams pop up on that first-team all-SEC preseason list. Let me start with the passer Payne. Do you feel like that's the right move, having him as first team? Now, remember, you got guys like Satanga from Oklahoma, really good player. Cam Coleman, of course, down in Texas, which let me pull up the whole list, see who the other guy was. But you get the point. I mean, there's some other guys in the conference, right? I mean, but Ryan Coleman-Williams, you go off of potential and upside. I mean, we know the player that he can be, which clearly this is kind of projecting. It's a preseason list. But, again, that's if he's back to who we think he can be. What do you make of him being that first-team receiver?
Listen, I mean,
I know you don't care.
Did Ryan Coleman-Williams put up numbers last year to suggest that he's the best? Or that's what they're saying, he's the best in the conference?
Him and Cam Coleman, they're first team.
I mean, but you got two young receivers with tremendous upsides who have shown tremendous potential and has had big games. I get that out. That, on national television, Ryan at Georgia a couple of years ago. I mean, he's done some things, magnificent catches, but then we've seen the easy drops. We've seen, him being on the bench in critical moments in games. The coach not putting them in. People don't understand why. We've seen a tremendous amount of inconsistency. So do I think he's probably one of the best in the conference? Absolutely. But it's not that he's shown it. It's based on moments. He's number one on that list because of moments, not because of consistency. And but you cannot say he's not one of the best in the conference. There's nobody that has that kind of upside, that kind of explosiveness, that kind of run after the catch. He can do it all. He just can't do it consistency, whatever the reason is there. So I don't have a problem with him being there. If I'm looking at the list, I think he'll have an opportunity this year to prove he's the best. This is a money year. We talked about that. When you get it's bag year. When it's bag year, guys work harder. They focus harder. They do things a little differently. Even though he's getting paid good money now, but we're talking about if he getting top 5. I mean, you're talking about generational money. So I don't have a problem with it. You can name other guys, maybe have better statistical years than he has had. But listen, when it comes to talent, there's nobody close, maybe Coleman. And that's it. I mean, those two guys and everybody else. So listen, I don't have a problem with it. And I think he should be there. I don't know why anybody would be upset about it, period.
No, I don't think anybody was upset. I just know some people were a little, not necessarily shocked, but it surprised them a little bit, just if they're thinking on last year. But again, this is a preseason for 2026. You're looking ahead and you're expecting him to have when I say a larger role, right? I mean, Jeremy Bernard, right? Isaiah Horton, they move on. And now it's really Ryan Williams stepping up. Latsier Brooks, of course, we know what he can bring. And there's other receivers in that room, but I think people are expecting Ryan to really step up in a big way. And with that, you would imagine that production is only going to increase. And listen, even last year, we always talk about this, but I mean, I just always remind people, even with the drops in which he led the conference with like 13, he still was just shy of 700 yards, 4 touchdowns, 49 receptions. I mean, like, dude still was productive. Just imagine how much more he could be, how much more productive he will be and can be once we clean up on some of that consistency. There's more targets. We talked about this last week too, by the way. Go back to 2024, his first year. Remember how many targets he had? They kept throwing him the football to the point where you're like, damn, like, y'all got to switch it up. Why are you only throwing to Ryan Williams? But at the same time, with more volume, you saw more of those big plays. And I just think this year he's going to have more volume again.
Well, there's a lot of question about Mark. I mean, you talking about we're talking about all the talent that he has, There were moments in games, critical moments, critical third downs, and he'd be over there next to the coach. And that happened
Yeah,
to
it can't
tell me a
happen.
lot. That told me there was a disconnect somewhere with the coach and player, whether it be work ethic, whether it be he not knowing what to do, whether it be too many mistakes being made. There
Not
was a
work ethic.
problem. That it's not about his talent, but he was over there. I'm talking about his 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8. Your best, your most talented receiver is standing next to the coach. Why? So either
Because
the
he wasn't
coach
the
is
most consistent. That's what
right,
the
or the
reality
coach is
was.
that
Yeah.
dumb. I mean, one of the two. It's one of the two. So I think it's what you just alluded to. But he has to learn how to play better. I know Shepard is gone now. I don't know who the new wide receiver coach is. Hopefully, he's a guy that can
Came
push
from
him,
Auburn.
get the
Derek
best
Nix.
out of him. Okay, he coached Cam Coleman, right? So,
Mhm.
so I think that'll be an easy transition there, and so I think it'll help him. But then it comes down to your coach, the offensive coordinator, who I thought was trash last year. To be honest with you, we talked about Ryan Grubb coming back. You know, he's at Seattle, he's in the NFL. We didn't blame him for the opportunity, but he lasted 1 season, and knowing that league,
And then they went on to win the
opinions.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, then they go win the Super Bowl, and the running back
They
gets
ain't had a running
MVP.
game.
You know, Kenneth Walker gets the MVP. You win a Super Bowl with a quarterback that everybody said was a big bust for 6 years, 7. I mean, and the guy's back at Alabama. So I'm concerned that Ryan Grubb is not who everybody thought he was, including me. So
Smitty's gonna have something to say about that because Smitty, I got to give Smitty his credit, and thank you so much, Smitty, for the super chat. I just saw it. I'll get to his comment in a second, but Smitty, I'll give him his credit. He did say back when all this was going on, hey man, I don't know, I would pump the brakes a little bit on the whole Ryan Grubb thing because it was hard not to think like that. Like I knew he had the struggles with the Seahawks, but in my head, I'm like,
but he
but
was
now
good at Washington. We
but
were basing that on
he exactly.
Washington.
We were basing it on Washington, and then you think about fit, right? Some guys just don't transition well to the next level, whether it's a player or a coach. So in my
Or
head, I'm
some
like,
guys
all right,
don't transition well to the next conference.
or that. So but that's why I'm like, you bring him back in the fold with a guy he's worked with for years. I'm talking about a couple, almost 2 decades, right? I think they've been working together since what? Probably back in before the 10s. Maybe not that quite. I think so, but still, the point is they had a long history. So it was hard not to envision him coming in and filling in the offensive coordinator role and improvement. And then you pair him up with a quarterback that fits a little bit more of the skill set that they would probably prefer in this system. I mean, it made total sense, right? And I was one saying like, hey, I think Ryan Grubb is going to make a big impact on this offense. And through 1 year
I don't
of
know
it,
if
we
he
were
forgot how to
wrong.
coach college ball, or I don't know. The sister girl, his wife or girlfriend.
Oh, wait,
no.
I don't
know what's happening.
Keep the families out of it. Come on,
This is fun talking. You get a beautiful bride. Is it a bride or girlfriend?
My brother, I don't know. It's not my concern, man. I'll tell you the X's and O's, man.
No. But anyway, I'm just saying.
She's a sister, though. She's a sister, though.
She said, hey,
anyway, come on, man.
But
Oh, I mean,
let me stop.
Chase, we got to go to break. We're overdue for a break. Chase, we're overdue for a break.
No. For the love, for the love,
music, man.
Listen, but my point is this:
he's got to turn into this is our version of Ryan Clark on the show. This is our version of Ryan Clark at this point.
I mean,
he always
what happened to Song's girl? Wasn't they something with some monkeys?
Hey, all right, Ryan Clark, man. I mean, I don't know. I think he's still with her. I mean,
I'm just going about the stories. I'm just going about what I hear, what a brother hear in the pods. So my point is, but when it comes to the coaching, Ryan Grubb, to me, this is a make or break year for him, really offensively. And if this offense struggle, they can't find out how to run the freaking football, then that's going to be a major problem. And now that you got 2 young quarterbacks, we talked about having the security of consistent pieces around him. We don't know yet offensive line. That's going to be a question mark. I think even who's going to be the 2, 3, 4 wide receivers who's going to be able to step up to take pressure off of Ryan Coleman. That's the other thing people don't talk about. And he had that last year with Jeremy Bernard. Ryan was not the number 1 receiver. It was Jeremy Bernard.
Right.
Now that he's going to be number 1. Now, will he be focused, be the focal point of this offense, right? Like they did with his rookie freshman year. They did what they could to get him the ball. They put him in short motion. They ran pop passes, reverses, swing routes out the back, all
Are you
kinds
talking
of
about
stuff.
Latzia Brooks or Ryan?
I'm talking about Ryan. I'm saying they made a concerted effort to get him the football. That went away last year in the sophomore season. Jeremy Bernard came in. He knew the offense. Here's the other problem. That was, Kalen DeBoer's boy. I mean, that's his guy. So I think they took away from Ryan. They made him the guy, brought him over because he was experienced and knew the offense. Ryan did not. So now you make Ryan number 2. I think there was some bitterness in there from Ryan. I think that, hey, you brought me in as high 5-star, the best in the country, and then I did my thing. Then the next year, you bring in this guy that just kind of takes my place. So I
Jeremy
think
Bernard was there in 24, though.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but whatever. Why was he number 1? And Ryan Williams was
I think it's just I think he was more consistent, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't think.
Well, maybe the experience. I always say
I get what you're saying though. Like typically, especially at the wide receiver position, if you take a guy from being wide receiver 1 and you kind of demote him a little bit, like a lot of wide receivers, like, guys that score touchdowns, they got egos, man. They want all the love. Like,
wide receivers are the worst. I mean, they're prima donnas. We all know that.
Yeah. So I get what you're explaining, but I don't think it's so much of that. But I get
forget all of that. That's history. That's past. We can't do anything about it. What can be done is the future. Okay, what will he do coming up? Will he take the con, if you will? This is his team. He got the keys to this offense. Roll. But if they can't run the football, if they cannot run the football, throw it all away. Throw all that in the trash. Because when you become one-dimensional, one-dimensional with an offensive line that's not experienced, an offensive line that hasn't been that good for the last 2 or 3 years, and they become one-dimensional, it's going to be a long season for the Tide. So if I'm coaching this team, we get ready to go to camp next week, whenever they report, I'm talking about we getting back to some 907. We getting back to some short yardage and goal line. I'm going to build me some toughness within this offensive line. I'm talking about the lowest man win, drive blocking, chop, hands in the chest, punch them in the throat.
We call that half line drill.
I'm getting back to some real toughness, and if you can't make it, get to stepping. I'm going to find me some dudes that at least will be physical, at least will play with great effort and resolve, and we're going to get back to toughness because they have to be able to run the football.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to segue into another question that I have. We'll have to do that when we come back. Plus, we got a phone call, 205-342-9994. If we still got, I believe it was Joe who was lined up a little early in the show. Hopefully, he's still there. But let's hit this time out. We come back. We'll have a quick, brief segment. Then we'll hit the top of our break. Then we'll hit the phone lines. We'll talk a little bit about my next question, which is they asked Kalen DeBoer about getting back that physicality and being a tough football team. And his answer, but he had an interesting answer. He said, you don't win, 7 out of 8 conference games not being won. So it was Alabama, in fact, more physical than people give them credit for, or more tough than people give them credit for. We'll talk about that a little bit later too, right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. I know you're going to have plenty of comments on that, so we'll save that. Smitty, thank you for the super chat, bro. I appreciate you. And,
what did he disagree with me about? Jim Bernard and Lottie Brooks were more consistent than Ryan. I knew that. I didn't say that they weren't.
No, but to his point on the super chat, that South Carolina game, their defensive line, boy, they gave us hell. And they ran a lot of.
We were the better team the last 2 years in Alabama. We just couldn't finish. We just couldn't finish. We were the better team.
The better team.
We won 6.5.
When. Yes, when playing each other. Yeah, I'll give you that. Y'all played better than us last 2 years. I thought you meant like just a better team. In general, I'm like, no, we have a better football team. We should not have struggled those games, but. Y'all had a very physical defensive line. Y'all did a really nice job cutting up the front, right? Slicing and dicing the front. They did a lot of those read toms, those run game, those run tom. You know what I mean? Like the nose and tackle. A lot of people do it. I mean, hell, we do it too. But dicing up the front a little bit. On the back end, y'all played. I mean, like, who's y'all's defensive coordinator?
I'm drawing a blank now. I'll think of it in a minute.
Is
Clayton
he?
White.
What's his
Clayton
background?
White.
What's his background?
I think he came from Western Kentucky. He played in the league a little bit with the Giants, I think, for a couple of years after I left.
They got a good defense. I like the defense y'all run.
Typical 3-2-4-2-5.
But if you look at like, I feel like they were running like they had like split field coverage and stuff. I mean, it looked like they were doing some good stuff.
Like things,
yeah, they were like mixing it up. I mean, they were creating some issues defensively. I just didn't know what tree he came from. Because I know y'all used to have. Wait, when was T-Rob there?
Oh, Will Muschamp, so that's been a while. Probably last 7 years ago.
But I was about to say, y'all used to run a little bit more of kind of like Alabama style defense when y'all had those guys. That's why I was asking who it was now, because I didn't remember. Let's try to hit some of these chat messages while we got some time real quick. Sorry, guys. I know I get behind on these chats, man.
How the A's is not going to give up? I don't know.
2,400 yards behind the leader in Smitty. Smitty also was here for 4 years, but to be fair, I mean, that's still on average 1,200 yards a season. So that's why I'll say Ryan would have to have like 2K in a single season for me to try to start throwing him up there.
Who said Ryan Williams the best all time?
No. They're saying that they think he was kind of on that path or something like that.
He's not on that path. He's on a decline. He got to come back up. He ain't going to catch them dudes. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, I love you to be passionate and all that, but that's kind of ludicrous.
Yeah, no.
The best all time?
Well, I think Dan was trying to compare like his first 2 seasons. I think he's compared his first 2 seasons numbers to like Julio, but then again, Julio didn't even have the biggest numbers. Remember, Julio was playing during a time where they didn't even throw nearly as much. Imagine if Julio played in today's college football, right? In today's game where they're really throwing the foot. Man, if Julio was in a different system, Julio's ass probably would have put up about 2,000 a year all 3 years.
How y'all feel about my teammate Tasha Young?
I think he gets 1,500 yards this season. Whoa.
He might.
Listen, the potential's there, but 1,500, boy. All right, hold on. We got like a quick. And welcome in for about 30 seconds because we're about to hit this top hour break real quick while I got you guys here before we do that. Remember to go holler at our folks over at Lamprello Law Education and Advocacy for all your representation needs. If you find yourself in a situation, trust me, it comes up, whether when you least expect it. You need somebody to represent you if you find yourself in a sticky situation. Contact Lamprello Law. Lamprello-law.com is the website, of course. They help out with any criminal matters, academic misconduct, NIL cases, you name it, they've got it. Plus those other services for high school, college, and graduate students. And that's going to be helping you out with exam and test taking preparation, subject matter mastery. The list goes on. They do it all there. So check them out, Lamprello-law.com. Schedule yourself a free consultation with Mr. Adam Lamprello, and you can have somebody in your corner that's going to fight for you. Not only are they going to do that, they're going to do it for an affordable rate because Lord knows, man, stuff is expensive nowadays. So get with Adam and his team to help you out at Lamprello Law Education Advocacy. Top of the hour break. When we come back, we got phone calls, and we got a good topic we're going to discuss with the Pastor Payne. Was Alabama more physical and tough than people give them credit for? Kalen DeBoer thinks so. He gave his answer at the podium last week. And I even saw, I think we had a writer. No, we had a writer in Tuscaloosa that was very, very honest about Alabama. And he let them hear. So we'll discuss that and more when we come back right here at Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC.
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm trying to get that attention. Bring me a refill.
How about you maybe roll the window down or get out and just politely say, excuse me. You know what I mean? Like you waving a cup in the front windshield. Like, come on, man. Bro, come on, man. Come on, roll the window down. Bro, come on, man. You can't just get out and go get. You need the steps anyway. Get out of the car and go ask politely at the front desk, man.
My knee bothered me today.
Oh my! Come on, man. Come on, man.
I run it down like you said. Hey,
no,
refill.
I said, please.
Right now.
Come on, man. Bama's offense stays in 2nd and 9 more often than not. That's again big reason why you need a better running game, man. You got to set yourself up. You can't play from behind the stick so much. I agree with you on that one. Hey, we'll see, man. Trust me, I'm locked in. Training camp, I'm locked in on that offensive line. Listen, I gave him a pass because spring was spring. Everybody was new coach. The spring, you're trying to teach the install. You're trying to learn the playbook. You're trying to meet your new teammates. Hey, what's your name? Hey, okay, I came from this school. All right, cool. We got that part out of the way, right? The ice has been broken. I can't play like he said.
Pastor in pain.
Pastor in pain?
That's right.
Who said that?
That's good.
That's funny, man.
Pastor in
That's
pain.
funny.
So, hey, listen. What's the offensive line coach name?
Herb Street was all over Ryan on his poor blocking effort. That's got to be better, man. There ain't no excuse for that. You can have drops. You know what I mean? Like we can understand people aren't perfect, but blocking is effort. He ain't the biggest guy, but it don't matter, man. Even if it's position blocking, just be scrappy, right? You
just get in the way. All you got to do is get in the way.
Yeah, you just got to get in the way, man.
CJ Sublime video.
What was that?
CJ just text me.
Oh. You see, you gotta be careful with that. See, you got your notifications reading out specific stuff, brother. You can't be doing that. There ain't nothing to hide, but I'm just saying. I mean, you be on a live radio show, brother.
No, he sent me something that I was 52% Nigerian.
No. I'm saying, but what if somebody texts you like with your bank information or something? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
text me that.
I'm over here trying to help. All right, you got it. I'm trying to help you out.
Hey, go to my bank, see what you can get out.
I'm literally just trying to help you out, man. I'm just trying to help you out, man. I'm just trying to help you out. I'm just saying, man. Nowadays, trying to help you out. Hey, Chase, will you see if Joe is still on that phone line, please? We got a $10 super chat from our guy, Mr. Ron Hollywood. Ron, I appreciate you, brother. He says, how can Kalen DeBoer make the Tide more physical? Is it too late? That's a good question. That goes right into what we're talking about. That's a dang good question. Appreciate that, Ron. Michael says, y'all go over 2028 commits. We talked about Tyseer Young, the latest commit, earlier in the show. If you're on X, just like YouTube, you can rewind it. I would go back over it with you, but we got a caller. We got to do some other stuff. So, unfortunately, I can't circle back to it right now. But I did a little breakdown tweet. And if you just rewind the video, probably 30 minutes, I just spoke about it in depth with his highlights on the screen. But yeah, if you're asking about a different 2028 commit, yeah, if it's a commit, I'll look into him for y'all. If it's a kid that's just Alabama offered, I don't know if I'm gonna take the time to do that. Respectfully, recruiting's a lot different nowadays. Are you on mute on purpose? Okay, got it. Is Joe still? Oh, he dropped. Damn, I feel bad. My bad, Joe. I apologize, man. I've been getting to the phone lines a lot quicker recently, but I apologize. And welcome back into this Monday Madness edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, we're talking a lot about it's a couple things that are still left over from SEC Media Days. Of course, we went over the all-SEC preseason list. Alabama landing 6 players total. Again, you had Ryan Coleman-Williams, first-team wide receiver, 2 DBs in Bray Hubbard and Xavier Brown as first-teamers. Second team, you had Michael Carroll, then Keon Sabb and Yanze Pierre on the third team. I think Yanze Pierre probably should have been second team at least. In my opinion, Chase, I think a guy that had about 8 sacks or so, I think 14 tackles for loss. Initially started the season more so as I think he was starting at Sam or no, they don't call it Sam, whatever. But like if they had like the 3-4 defense, he was playing, but his role really increased once Quay Russaw went down. So now you're talking about this guy is going to have even more snaps this year to build off of. He's got a year under his belt. I mean, I'm expecting to have a big year. So I think by the year's end, really strong chance the young man is probably going to be higher than third team. But regardless, the only one I would say, and I don't want to say this like in a bad way, take anything from anybody, but Keon Sabb being third team, I mean, if he gets back to how he was playing his first year from transferring in from Michigan, you know what I mean, Chase? I mean, like he was on a roll, right? I mean, he started off the year, had a couple interceptions. I think it was a pair in one game. Like I can't remember exactly what it was, but he was playing some really good ball. Then he had that foot injury. I just feel like last year he kind of, I wouldn't say it's like similar to Ryan, but just kind of had a little bit of a dip, right? Stronger first year, a little bit dip the second year. Let's see if we can get back to it. But in terms of anybody that I would say was snubbed from that list, I know we're going to get into this next conversation. I'm waiting until my dad comes back. He's getting his refill. I think they actually made him get up, Chase, which is good. He needs to start walking around. Now, all that sitting around and blaming his knees. I get his knees hurt, but we got to move, man. Movement is key. I'm trying to think of who if I had to add somebody to the list that maybe didn't make it. And again, this is just preseason list. Don't really mean a whole bunch. I mean, Latsier Brooks, I mean, a lot of people are probably expecting him to only be better. And he really came along, especially towards the end of the year. I mean, he had big moments throughout the year, but towards the end of the year, I think his role just increased and he easily kind of put his name on the map. Maybe Dijon Lee, I would say, has a good chance of maybe working his way on that list at some point. Devin Tompkins comes to mind. The spring that he had, I would argue that I can see him on that list by the end of the year. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the production is necessarily going to look like, right? I've talked about it. I feel like he could be a very similar in terms of like production, like a LT Overton type of player. I don't remember if LT was, all SEC. And I know some people probably think he's going to be even more productive than that. I don't know. Personally, I feel like it probably is in that realm. And is that enough to be on there? I guess we'll have to see. But it wouldn't shock me if he ends up working his way on that list. Other than that, that's really probably the only guys that I would say, other than maybe whichever quarterback we have start. I imagine they're going to end up probably being pretty productive, especially given this offense loves to, throw the ball, move it through the air. I could see Keelan Russell earning some honors at the end of the year, especially if he ends up winning it. So, I mean, there's other guys, of course, it's just preseason, but be interesting to see kind of how it all plays out. Now, freshman all conference or freshman, whatever it is, there you go. He's got his coffee. I think Sedarian Morgan and Crowell, I think have a really strong chance of earning freshman honors, without a doubt. I think with the load that they're expected to see, Coach Kalen DeBoer talked about the expectations of them playing significant snaps during SEC Media Days. I think it's a very good chance that you see those guys with some postseason all-conference or maybe freshman All-American type honors. All right, Pastor Payne's got his coffee in hand, so we can go back and get back onto this next topic that I have.
You got a $50 Snapchat. What do you call Snapchat?
No, not Snapchat, brother. I don't know what you're doing on Snapchat. It's Super Chat.
What do you call that?
You need to stay away from Snapchat, but it's a Super Chat. And I'll hit those because you're right. We do. We got first one
from
Mr.
Hershey, Pennsylvania.
What are you talking about?
Hershey, the guy said from Pennsylvania. Roll Tide.
Okay.
I was just in Hershey.
Let me get to that, brother. We got one from Mr. Dan Caraway with the Super Chat. Dan, we appreciate you. He said, just so we're clear, I will always see Smitty as my number one, Julio as number two, than the rest of them, unless Ryan Coleman Williams has a Heisman caliber season and we win a natty, then he would be up there with them. If Ryan goes for 2K and wins a Heisman, no, I'm just saying, hear me out. I'm just saying, if Ryan goes for 2K, wins a Heisman, they win a national championship, I think there's an argument to be made that he could try to put him in that realm. Top three. I didn't say the best ever. I said like top three realm. 2K?
If and Bus was candy and nuts. They were.
I didn't say it's I'm saying
two things not going to happen. He ain't going to go for three things. He's not going to win the Heisman, and Alabama will not win the national championship. So none of them. I don't think any of those. I don't think any of those happen. Respectfully, I just don't. I'm not saying it can't. Anything can happen. Alabama could win a national championship. Personally, I don't think that's. I think next year you have a much better feeling going into that season. Like you're a little bit more prepared to make a run, right? Just so many question marks, so many young players right now. It's hard for me to see that. Just being honest. But I'm just saying, if that happened,
I think it would be fair to throw him in that top three. Matter of fact, who is
What
the
are we-
receiver?
Hold on, hold on.
Wait,
hold on.
let me. All right,
What all this stuff based on? So, because listen, is it based on what they did in college at Alabama, rate, okay, versus what the eye test is and talent and what they're doing for upside National Football League? That's a whole nother kind of ranking.
No,
So
I'm not talking about what they're doing at the next level.
no,
We're
I'm
saying
saying that even
Alabama.
with the super chat. I mean, the thing is,
Wait. Let me say
nobody's
this.
better than Julio Jones. We know
Wait,
that. Overall,
wait. Let me
nobody.
say this real quick. Let me just say this real quick because I'm going off of what they do in college, and according to ChatGPT, these are the receivers with the most receiving yards in a single season. Devontae Smith, number one, with 1,856 yards, 23 touchdowns. Amari Cooper, in 2014, my redshirt year, he had 1,720. I didn't realize he went for 1,700. Golly. And 16 touchdowns. Makes sense. And him and Blake Sims, I mean, they were
Cooper's a bad dude.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying I didn't know he went for 1,700. Jameson Williams had 1,572. Jerry Jeudy had 1,300. And then Devontae Smith again with 1,256. So I was just saying, 2,000 yards would put him as the most ever in a single season in Alabama history. I'm just saying, if he were to do something like that, I would consider putting him in that top three conversation. But I'm with you. To me right now, I would probably say Devontae Smith, Julio Jones, and probably Amari Cooper. And I'm sure I'm probably missing some of the old school guys.
Listen, Devontae Smith had a phenomenal college career. There's no doubt he won a Heisman with those types of numbers. I'll give him that. And to do that with so many other talented receivers, Henry Ruggs, Jerry Jeudy, playing alongside dudes like that. The tight end. I mean, and he played with NFL dudes. So I'm not even going to sweat Devontae Smith in college. But Devontae Smith is not the best receiver, high level, NFL. No. That's Julio Jones, hands down. That's Amari Cooper, hands down. Right? Everybody else is chasing.
That's close right there, though. I'll give you Julio.
I'll give you dudes right there.
Listen. But see, because you played a decade in the league, so I get you're including that, and I respect that. I'm talking like if you just go off of college, though, I think Smitty's got.
I said college is Devontae.
Yeah, I'm just saying because of because what he did. But if you're saying the whole picture, Julio. Yeah, I give it to Julio.
There's not even a discussion.
Julio is like he created in a lab.
Julio's gonna be a Hall of Fame. He's gonna be in the Hall of Fame.
But you got to give Smitty credit though for what he's done. I mean,
giving him credit.
No, I'm saying he's had a productive career. He's won a Super Bowl. So I'm just saying he's also had a very good pro career. Like him and Amari Cooper, I would say a little bit more of an argument.
He's got a long way to go. He got a long way to go.
Right, but Julio's
been good early. He's been good early. Listen, they played in pass-happy offenses. Julio didn't do that. The game changed.
I said that earlier.
I mean, so you got to look at all these things. That's why, even though with basketball, I heard you before I got on the show about LeBron James and it's just depending on what era did you play in? I mean, you can go Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and all these. These are phenomenal, great players, but you can't compare and contrast because a lot of times they're in totally different eras. So my whole point is this: Ryan Coleman Williams not even in this kind of discussion. I don't care what his numbers said in the first 2 years until he gets to a place and play at that level in which Devontae Smith played and which Julio, these guys, Amari Cooper. I don't even want to hear the conversation.
Would you compare him more to like Jerry Jeudy?
I ain't comparing him to nothing.
No. I'm saying in terms of the level right now. Would you say he's more on that Jeudy kind of level?
I think he's more on
maybe
the
Waddle,
best football
Jalen
players
Waddle.
that get mani-pedis and paint their fingernails.
Come on, man. Chill out with all the disrespect, Come on.
No. I'm just saying, till he proves that he can play consistently at a high level, let's wait and see. To me, it's incomplete. Like going to college. I mean, sometimes you take a class and you're in a this high level class, but you didn't fit. It's incomplete. He's incomplete right now. Does he do I think he has the physicality, the potential to run out the catch, footwork? His hands are questionable and all that stuff. But if he gets those things right and the offense is able to manufacture some running game and things, I think he has that kind of capability. But I think it's ridiculous to even talk about this conversation because there's no conversation.
Bro, we're looking ahead, fam. You and all this. Listen, you got to learn, man. You view things as if we're having a
gotta learn.
conversation on it. Yeah, you need to learn how to decipher when we're talking about looking ahead, what could be versus what it is now, right? We were the point was being, hey, Dan thought Ryan could be, so we were just saying, hey, what would need to happen for that conversation to happen?
So
I agree
somebody
with
said
this.
he was the best already.
No, you read it wrong. They said they believe he's on pace, and if he has a big year, then that could be a situation. But listen,
Well, let's
I
just keep it right
understand
there. But they point him to comparing him with other guys. Nah, not the top three guys.
No, well, my point was if we're going to say he could be that, I wanted to look at those other guys and see kind of what their numbers and stuff look like in their college careers, because I wasn't bringing in NFL in the equation. I was only talking about when he leaves Tuscaloosa. Where will we rank him in terms of the guys that came before him? That's where this came from. Well, duh, because he hadn't left, man. Sean, thank you so much, man. Sean's a big fan, Christian, huge Bama fan from Pennsylvania, Roll Tide, and a very generous $50 super chat. We appreciate that because, listen, as the show goes, man, the Bills do too. So thank you so much for helping out and support. Chase, what are we gonna do with this, man? Chase, tell him to go back to writing books, man. He shows up and he just, golly. All right, let's do this. Let's hit a timeout. When we come back, we got to answer the big question that they asked Coach DeBoer. Is Alabama? Or they asked him like what he's going to do to be more physical and tough. You know, maybe we should put this conversation in the back pocket.
Pass a fine bomb today.
You are at you listen. You do come from the school of Ryan Clark and
from the school of
Stephen A.
I come from the school of calling it like it is.
No,
y'all get into the fandom side. Let me just Chase.
Who is
order some?
Chase,
can you
Chase,
order some
Chase, who is
so
y'all?
Chase?
Chase, listen. Who is Chase? Who is y'all? First of all, you look like you need to take some medicine or something. The way you're moving, I don't know what that was. Second of all,
I'm shaking the pom poms.
I don't shake pom poms. I never have I done that. I listen. That's what's crazy to me is when you say that.
But my point is this:
you really think I'm not?
I just think
I've
said nothing but great things about Ryan Coleman Williams on this show today.
I'm not talking about Ryan
about his ups. I talked about his upside, but I think it's ridiculous to even compare him right now to them dudes that have done it at a high level in college with great consistency, and those guys that have and Julio Jones and Mark Cooper have done it in the National Football League.
He ain't even
and
got
now
there
Devontae
yet.
Smith is doing that. You know, a guy like Henry Ruggs, and we never saw that. Jerry Jeudy has been kind of a bust. You know what I mean? To me, at this early point, he has been a bust.
That's a stretch. That's a stretch. Maybe not as productive as some maybe would have thought he would have been, but that's come on, man. I think you just say your definitions are just like very
Jameson
strong.
Williams is doing more than what Jerry Jeudy has been doing.
Okay, I mean, and somebody could probably
say
they've done more than
blew
James.
his knee out. I mean, so he came in the league with a blown. But my point is this:
I mean, Jerry was also with Denver initially, right? And he's with Cleveland.
I mean, he had a good year, I think, and then he kind of fell off.
Right, but what my point? Look at who he's been with. Just like Amari Cooper, he started his career with Oakland, the Raiders, before they were Vegas. They were awful, right? He went to a better situation. He was with Dak in Dallas, right? His numbers were a lot better. So I'm just saying, like, I don't think Judy's had the best situation. Judy's biggest thing was, some drops he's had. But, again, it's unfortunate that he hadn't had the best situation. I guarantee you if he was on a better team, probably look a little bit different. Come on, man. Don't be talking about my teammates like that, man.
Let me just tell the truth.
That's a stretch, though.
We love
that's a stretch, though. When you use the word bust,
what's a stretch?
Bust, bro. To me, a bust
he has been an early bust for a first round pick. He has not been. If he was that good, he would still be with the team in which that drafted him.
That's not true.
They let him go
for a reason.
That's not true. That is true. They let him go for a reason.
Man.
Devontae may cut or traded.
Bro, you know how many Amari Cooper was in Oakland with the Raiders
for
like maybe 1 or 2 years. No, he lasted 1 or 2 years. The organization was terrible. He's on a second contract. You know how much he just got paid? Bro,
Judy?
Yes.
Did he get traded before his contract was over or after?
I can't. He was there at least 3, almost 4 years. It was right around probably. I can't remember exactly. I'm just saying. Come on, like listen. When you use that word, that's kind of crazy, bro. To me, a bust would be like, what's the quarterback? Was it Ryan? Whatever. No offense to him. I hate even using that word because I feel like people put so much stock in athletes' careers as if that's the only thing that matters. If somebody didn't live up to it, who gives? Like, who cares? I mean, you still got 60 years of life to live. The football doesn't define who you are, bro. I don't
This
know.
is not personal.
But see,
So you take
no, it's because
truth
I listen to the guys on NFL Network and they talk how you talk, and I'm just kind of I never thought it was cool to talk about dudes like that. You know what I mean? Like Jamarcus Russell, like Jamarcus Russell. If you like, we all know like that would fit more along the lines of what you're saying. But I still feel bad saying it like that because I mean,
he was
like,
early. To me, when you have that kind of expectation and then have it, and you get drafted that high,
I get it. I get that.
I mean, there's expectations put on you. That's all. I mean, I'm not saying that he's going to be an overall bust. I said early, he's still in the league. He's still playing. He still has opportunity. I hope, where's that in Cleveland, and he got Deshaun Watson in there. Who knows what's going to happen? Shedeur Sanders. I mean, but I think I watched him play, and I didn't see the same Jerry Jeudy for whatever reason. That's all I'm saying.
Well, this is why I think you're exaggerating. So in 2020, Jeudy, I guess that was his rookie year. He had 856 yards, had 467 and 21, 972 and 22, 758 and 23, 1,229 and 24. He had 600 last year with all the quarterback issues. So through, 6 seasons, I mean, he's just shy of 5,000 yards. He's averaging probably just under 900 yards a season. That's not a bust, bro. Like that, he's had some drops, but with bad quarterback play, that is not bad, man. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, bro, you said, bro, bust is like beyond bad. To me, it's like elite, great, good, bad,
he's been good,
awful, and then bust. Bust is like
he's been good.
Bust is like beyond bad.
But when you're brought in to play when you get drafted, your expectation is like way up there. And if you do anything down here, it could be good for just a normal person, for a 6th rounder like I was, or 4th rounder like you were, or Fred, and they doing these kind of get
the expectations are totally different.
Right. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think that's bad for even for a 1st-round receiver. There's been a number of 1st-round receivers that are.
Yeah, I mean, but just saying. I mean,
I'm not saying it's the most production, but I'm just saying, given the circumstances.
been better? Look, pull up Devontae. Has he been better?
I'm sure Smitty's numbers are a little bit higher, but see, this is my thing.
This
is my thing. This is the only thing I say that I don't think you do a lot. I don't think you look at the whole picture a lot of times. Like, I don't think you're fairly considering his situation versus Smitty, who's consistently been in that same offense with. I know some people complain about Hurts at times, but I'm just saying, I mean, like, that's a much better situation than being with Denver and Cleveland, right? You see what I'm saying? Now, granted, I also look at it with Smitty. He's had A.J. Brown, they kind of had battle for that wide receiver 1 title. So that's also going to probably affect the amount of production that he sees, because Philly likes to run the football. All right, they got a quarterback who also can use his legs. Then you got a guy like A.J. Brown. So Smitty's numbers probably aren't going to be through the roof, but that doesn't define the type of player or career he's had. That's why I think you should probably try to look at all those a little bit more.
I think Smitty has made a Pro Bowl, though.
I think they both have. I think technically Jeudy might have been an alternate or something. I don't know. We got to hit a timeout. We come back. We'll keep on rolling.
I want to talk about the physicality of Alabama.
We're going to talk about
them high prima donna. Let's talk about the real that's happening.
Oh,
ready to happen down
Chase, I don't know if I'm ready for it, bro. I don't know if I'm ready
Kalen,
for it.
the boy, has the makeup to turn this Alabama football team back into
we got to answer that question from Ron. That's a great question. And we're going to hear that when we come back with this quick timeout right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. So I got to start using that mute button a little earlier, man. I mean, you be having me running so late on these breaks, man.
I got to do is go to break.
Now look, he got offended. He turned his mic and camera off, man. I was just saying the break running a little late, man. Devontae Smith NFL numbers. Let me see. Let's see Smitty's. So Smitty 916, just under 1,200, 1066, 833, and 1,000. So Smitty's averaging probably a little bit, probably about 1,000. I would say on average, probably about 1,000. So definitely a little bit more productive, and that's through 5 years. But again, I think situations play a big role. But no doubt about it. I mean, they both are doing their thing, and both have gotten paid. So Mario says he's better than a lot of those first-round picks the Lions keep getting year after year, other than Megatron. Who are you referring to right there, Mario? Chase going to be mad at you, fellas. We were supposed to take that break a long time ago. Yeah, that's cool. I shuffle around the other ones, just kind of make them a little bit shorter. Chase is cool with it though. Oh wait, now he's back. One person will dominate high school, college, and pros. Derrick Henry will own all accomplishments. Did Derrick win a state championship in high school? I wouldn't be shocked. I know his numbers were crazy. Yeah, I mean, Derrick dominated at every single level. Every level. Every single level. You're right about that. I feel like we've had a couple other guys like that. I forgot to tell y'all, man, Ashawn Robinson was supposed to jump on here, but I know they had training camp coming up, so I forgot to try to time that. I think, unfortunately, they might be in camp now, but Ashawn was going to jump on here, man. We're going to chop it up, but maybe we can still get these guys.
Ashawn old, we might have forgot.
No, it wasn't. No, it was on me. I forgot to get back.
He with the Panthers now, right? He's still the Panthers.
He was, but now he's with Tampa Bay. He's going. What's crazy is he's going on year 11. Isn't that crazy? I feel like it was just yesterday. I was like playing with him here. He's going on year 11. It's wild. That was CJ's roommate for a little while. Coach Chelsea said it's not always players that are the problem. It can be a mix of coaching, certain teammate issues, quarterbacks. Russell Wilson did not live up to expectations at Denver. Absolutely. Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like Judy's two teams so far have just been not the best, landing spots, especially for him at receiver. But shout out to my dog, One Jew.
Who's your dog?
Judy. One Jew.
Oh.
He's so funny. He had like a Star of David necklace on, and they were asking if he was Jewish, and it was like his nickname is Jew, One Jew. He was at like the NFL Combine. Wait. What was I about to do? Oh wait, I need to. Where's that clip? I need to. Let me find the clip. Wait, what's the guy from the news here that went off on the toughness? What's his name? I'm trying to find that clip. Oh, here it is. I found it. I don't know if we should do this with you on here because you're about to eat this one up. You're going to eat this one up, man. Heck, we'll do it. We'll go ahead and do it. And welcome back into this Monday Madness edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right, let's talk about Alabama. And if is Alabama truly soft? And do we believe that they can get back to playing a physical brand of football, really living out what it means to be intense, tough, play with tenacity, all those things that we know this program was built on? They asked Coach DeBoer about that, and he gave his answer, and it pretty much was a reminder that, hey, I mean, we won 7 games within the conference last year, made it to the SEC championship game. We won a playoff game, only one of 6 teams to do that. I mean, I think you got to be a pretty physical team or a tough team to do that, which first, let's start there. Let's respond to that. Then I'll play the clip from the I think, is it Goodman, Joe Goodman, that made the comment regarding that. Can you be a successful team? Can you win 7 games out of 8 within this conference and not be tough or physical? I understand where he's going with that, because if the SEC is in fact the biggest, baddest conference, if you go 7-1 within the conference, one would assume that you have to have some level of physicality and toughness in order to carry out that task. However, I would argue, this is my opinion, that doesn't really necessarily mean you are tough or physical. Now, it definitely means you got something about you, whether that you got some type of grit. You got a little something to you. You got a little something to you, but does that mean you're on the same level as some of these other teams that we saw like last football season, whether it's Miami, Indiana, those teams that we saw play for national championship games that truly were tough and physical consistently? Personally, I don't think that necessarily lines up. I don't. I do think it shows you have a strong will. You got the capacity to go on the road and beat Georgia. You got the capacity and the ability to withstand, 4 straight ranked SEC games and go on the road for, I think, 2 of them. You go undefeated in those 4 games, right? The only one you lost was to Oklahoma, a close one, where you had, a lot of issues in that game, and you still only lost by, I think, 2 points, couple points there in that loss. So I get where he's trying to go with that. However, I don't agree that truly defines if you're a tough team or not, just by what because I do know there are ways to win football games where, yes, majority of times the tough physical football team is going to win, but we've seen there's times where you have finesse style teams that know how to put more points on the board, right? Like if you look at the Pac-12, for example, hell, they played no defense. They just put a whole bunch of points on the board. And at the end of the day, you just got to have more points than the other team. Now, I will say this. Alabama's defense, if you watch them on tape, they've shown some physicality and toughness. I'm not saying the offense never has, but you've seen it a lot more out of the defense. The real problem lies in the consistency of it. That's the major issue, right? Can they do it consistently? If you're talking about on the offense side of the football, when it comes to our trench play, the physicality and toughness just haven't been there. Too many times I'm seeing us not getting enough push up front. Too many times I'm seeing us getting tossed around. Defenders are shedding us. We're not, sustaining blocks. Our receivers not doing a great job blocking on the perimeter. Just not really playing how a tough football team would play. Defensively, I've seen a lot more moments like that. But there have also been moments where it's disappeared. They don't always sustain it the way they should. So with that being said, the next question is, can Alabama get to that? Ron had a really good question. He asked, is it too late for Coach DeBoer to try to make them a physical, tough football team? That's a really good question. I'll let the Pastor Payne kick off that one. Go ahead.
Listen, no, it's not too late if he's still there coaching and bringing in his caliber of players. It's not too late. Now, the question is he going to implement things that's going to make them tough? And I got pushed back on what you were saying, Christian. Is like the answer to what that first thing you said is absolutely no, they're not a physical team. They're a soft team. Because I'm going to go back and I'm going to play the tape of this offensive line that got destroyed week in and week out. Couldn't run the football. Defensive line playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage all the time. Quarterbacks getting crushed and Ty Simpson all the time. Pressure coming from everywhere. They were soft. Charmin tissue, soft. Powder, puff, soft at the offensive line. And then I can also turn the tape onto the defensive line where they got pushed around a lot. Well, they were out physical. And those are the 2 areas that we're talking about. Let's just be honest. It ain't about the offensive line. I mean, the receivers or the DBs. And this is about the trenches. Alabama has been very soft, very non-physical in the trenches. And that's been the problem. Yeah, you could tell me, we won 7 games and all that. What about them games that mattered? What about when you got to the playoffs? What about when you played Georgia in the SEC championship game? What about the Oklahoma game? What happened? So my point is, when you played upper echelon talent, you not just got out physical, catch this word, dominated. You got dominated. Those are Absolute facts. So my question would be, you've got rid of your offensive line coach. Okay. What are you going to do about it now? What do your practices look like? Are they challenging? Are you pushing guys? Are you doing live 9-on-7s, goal line, short yardage and goal line? Are you putting these guys in position to make them be tough?
Well, believe it or not, I just wanted to just chime in real quick. Sorry to cut you off. They actually do that, and they've been doing that. Like, that's one thing that their practices do
Live.
consist of. They go live when they do goal line and short yardage periods. We didn't even do that. So that's why I try to explain to people.
Well,
like,
I see them doing
it's
tackling dummies, tackling the dummies.
no. Listen. I'll be the first one to tell you. It's not as if like they practice like I've been at scrimmages and there's been guys really getting after it, right? I've seen some physicality out of dudes, defense really turning it up. I'm talking about really laying the wood on guys, not necessarily trying to do the whole brother-in-law system or whatever you call it, cousin system. I forgot what it's called. Brother-in-law. So it's not as if like they're not practicing. You know what I mean? I don't think it's due to the practice.
But why
habit
isn't
necessarily.
it translating
Listen, I was
translating
gonna
on the football field?
I was going to say that part. I have
Game time.
not. I can't put a finger on it, but I will say for the people wondering, because a lot of time you say, "Hey, this is development practice," and I agree with that. But I will say that they do things like periods and stuff, and they get after it at times that I've seen. So I don't think that's
Okay.
the
Let
sole
me
issue.
get.
No. I don't think that's a sole issue. What I do think is, all right, if you at least go back to 2024, when we were hearing about like guys showing up to meetings late and stuff like that, that's unacceptable. And to me, I think that probably had more to do with it, more so a mentality, right? It wasn't from the practice habits. It was probably from the guys not necessarily being as bought in as they need to, right? Like for us, the way I would describe it was like we didn't do live goal line drills and stuff like that. We always were thud. The only time we went live was if it was a scrimmage. But best believe when we went team run period and it was good on good, it didn't matter that it just was thud. Best believe that tackle in front of me is trying to drive my ass in the dirt. If I'm lined up in a 6 technique and I got Miller Forstall or Hale Henches or Irv, whoever, we're trying to take each other's heads off. And they want to have good tape. I want to have good tape. You know what I'm saying? And this is good on good. Like everybody we're going against, these are top players. I got Cam Robinson in front. I got Jonah Williams in front. First round tackles. I think Cam might have been second round. You get the point. So I think there's some of those elements at practice, but I think more of it was kind of. I hate it. I'm not saying they don't have a culture, like a tough culture, but I don't think they have the same toughness in their culture like we had.
I mean, that's such a whoever's on this that they are not soft. Yes, they are soft. You talking about because they won some SEC games and the SEC. Well, the SEC overall has been soft. Would you say so? Being that the Big Ten is now the kings of college football.
It's
not the SEC anymore. It ain't no debate. They won the last 3 years of the Big Ten. Big Ten dominated the best teams in the SEC.
But answer Mario's question in the sense.
But I'm answering.
No. I meant from a football perspective, because this is what I would say. Because I understand why people assume that, and you're saying, then that just means the conference is soft. I always say the conference is softer, not necessarily soft. But what I would argue is you can win football games a number of ways, right? The more physical team doesn't always win the football game. Here's an example. When we played South Carolina, we beat South Carolina the past 2 years. If you turn on the tape, South Carolina was the more physical team in those football games. However, we won the game. We won the game. Why? Because we forced a turnover late in the game. And then we also we drew up a nice play where we scored, right? Like, I think one reason we're able to win games while we're not as physical is because they like to scheme things up. They do a nice job throwing the football and scoring points through the air, right? Now, defense does bow up. Like, there are moments where they lack physicality, but then they make big stops in the red zone and hold teams to field goals. So to answer Mario's question, you can be softer of a team and still win the football game, right? That's why I gave the example about like Pac-12. They can go scheme up and put a whole bunch of points on the board, but they played no defense, right? Like, they still would find ways to probably beat some tough physical SEC football teams because of the matchups, right, in the scheme. So it is not a direct correlation. But I do
Listen.
understand to an extent. I do understand to an extent what Coach DeBoer was saying, though. Like, you have to have at least something to you to go on the road and beat Georgia in Athens. Like, I'm not saying like from this. Let me just play the clip so you can hear this guy. I don't know, like the way this guy was going off on it. I don't agree with him here. This was I think a local writer here in Tuscaloosa.
You call Alabama soft. You use the S word, right, that no college football fan wants to hear about their team. Certainly not one that prides itself in something like joyless murder ball.
Yeah. Alabama, they're softer than the toilet paper that hangs from the trees in Too Much More. That's what they are right now.
You said, quote, football really isn't that difficult to analyze. Soft teams go into the season and lose to Florida State 31-17. Soft teams go scoreless for 3 quarters in the SEC championship game. Soft teams rush for 23 yards in the Rose Bowl after having a month to prepare for the game. This is Alabama now, in your words, and this is going to make Alabama fans' skin crawl. It's like the Mike Shula era with less spine.
So he's obviously going way, way too far with that. And then the other thing I would add, you played at the highest level for nearly a decade. I'm totally fine with you offering your opinion. If you're going to call him soft, listen, you lived it, you did it, feel free.
Who was that guy?
I think he's a local reporter. My thing is, he's talking.
Has he ever been in a 907 drill?
That's what I was about to say. This is the problem I have with him doing. And I'm not trying to be Ryan Clark here and go at somebody because they didn't play. However, if you're going to be talking about these young men that are out there putting the pads on and actually going into the arena, the men in the arena, I want to see his ass strap up. So I'm just saying, if he's going to talk about, listen, like I said, you can do it because you played a decade in the league. That's cool. I want to see this dude here. Now, maybe he played football and I don't know about it.
I don't know.
He might, but the way he's talking, though, I want to see his ass go get in the half-line drill.
He's trying to steal some of my lines. I need to find out.
He over to Sean.
Let me just say this. Let me put this in the. Alabama is not physical. Listen, you can beat you, and let me go right here. You can win games, right? You can win games and do it soft way out. You did a great job talking about South Carolina. I'm going to say that. But you can be a very non-physical football team, but be a good offense with good. You got frisbee catching dogs at receiver. You spread teams out and you play the game from sideline to sideline, wide open. Football on like on a basketball court, fast up and down, and you can win. Doesn't mean that you're physical. That means that you out scheme somebody, because what teams do to try to that are not physical, they play that style of football. Like you mentioned, the Big 12, whatever you said, the West Coast, Pac-12, they play a different brand and style of it's not physical. You got to be able to, they're going to draft guys. I mean, they're going to recruit guys that can run sideline to sideline. They're going to have smaller offensive linemen. They're going to be more angle and cut you off. Like San Francisco, I'll give you a great example in the NFL. The San Francisco 49ers with Steve Young back in the day, they were like that, right? They weren't physical. When we played them in 1993, and it might have been 94 when we played them in the playoffs in January, they had Steve Young at quarterback. They had an offensive line that were very undersized. We were big bruisers. We were physical. Me and LT, we had, big inside backers. We had Eric Dorsey, these big, huge Eric Howard at the defensive line, strong, physical. We'll mash you, right? But we ran into a buzzsaw against the 49ers when they had Steve Young, Brent Price at tight end. I mean, he couldn't block me. He wasn't going to try to block me because I would freaking choke him out and throw him in the dirt. He couldn't handle. But they had Jerry Rice. They had Ricky Waters at running back. I mean, they had all these fast dudes, and all they were sending 5 out in the passes, and we couldn't stop it. We got blown the freak out because we weren't used to that style of football. And we went out there in Candlestick Park, and we got blown out. LT's last game, I'll never forget this. And so if you look at it from a physical standpoint, the way we played, we pound you running the football. Howard Cross at tight end, Rodney Hampton at running back, Jan. We were physical, but they were smarter when they changed and made us play sideline to sideline. We couldn't keep up. So, yeah, we were a more physical team, but we lost. So that point he's making, no, you don't have to be physical to win 7 games. And that's who Kalen DeBoer is, and this is the problem. When it comes to playing the type of game that makes them play in the box, right? That when you got to play in the box, and you got to be physical, or you got to try to close out games in fourth quarter offense, when you got to be able to run the football, when you got to be able to get 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1 to create first downs and move the chain. This is where I'm talking about Alabama is soft. When they got to get a stop, when it's 3rd and 1 and they're on defense of 3rd and 2, they can't stop teams from running the football. That's where I'm talking about. Where back in the day when they were at the most successful points with Nick Saban, they dominated in those areas. So I think you got to have both. I think you got to be able to play sideline to sideline, but when the game comes to a box game, meaning the 9-on-7 style, right? You play in the box. You got to be able to win and be more physical there in times of games like the SEC championship, like in the college football playoffs, that you can when in games where you can run the football like Oklahoma or stop the run, don't give up 200+ yards to a bad Oklahoma team. These is what stands out to me when win those wars, and then they can be back where we're talking good things about them. But at this point, they're not a physical football. You can win 7 games, but yet the 3 or 4 games you lose were ugly and where you were dominated. That's the problem that I have with Alabama. Yeah, they had some good moments, but when they lost it on national television and at the highest stage on all of national television, everybody's watching, they looked horrific. And that's the problem people are seeing nationally and even locally, because they didn't look physical. They got out physical, and that's what people remember. That's why I was saying last week, people remember the last time they saw you. The last time we saw Alabama on TV against Indiana, Indiana looked like they were much more better.
They do, but the argument I would have is they're not having that same, I guess, energy with Oregon, who also got embarrassed and dominated.
Well, Oregon's not Alabama.
No, but hear me out, though. I'm just saying, though, to be fair, I think I get it. That just proves that Alabama's expectations are a lot different than anybody else, because Oregon lost in that same fashion, and people are still predicting that they'll be a top team, and you're not even hearing about that. But with Alabama, it's the complete opposite. But let's hit a timeout, because we definitely got to catch up on that. And when we come back, well, I'll let you finish a little bit more. But it's a good conversation, because I know some people are asking similar questions as Mario. And I think it's good to kind of explain it in this way and try to make sense of what we're talking about here. Right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Quick timeout. We'll be right back.
From our home base.
All right. I know I'm showing Mario all this love, man, but I'm trying to help him understand what we're saying here. So why so much talk about being physical? It's about winning at the end of the day, right? As long as Bama wins. As long as Bama wins, of course, people are going to be quiet. But when you're talking about the inner workings of football, that's what I know you're like making the laughing emojis, but I'm really trying to explain this to you so you understand. In order to be a successful football team, it's not just, hey, are you physical or are you not? There's a lot of other factors. That's why what he was explaining is, the best teams have a combination. Miami is extremely physical up front in the trenches, but they also have guys like their wide receiver, Tony, right, who actually is pretty physical when it comes to effort and blocking stuff. But you get the point. You got skill guys. You got good athletes on the field, but there's a good combination, right? And then when you're talking about specific moments in a football game, what he's describing, right, when you're talking about 4-minute offense, where you're trying to close things out, when you know that team is going to load the box because they know you are running the football, those are key moments in a football game. They were able to do it at Georgia on the road at one time, but they haven't done it consistently. That's why you have to be physical. So I know you're joking and you're saying you're trying to have an argument for everything we're saying, but I really want you just to listen to what we're saying, at least what I'm saying, because I'm not trying to just make fun of them or knock them about. I want them to be more physical for the reasons I'm explaining, not because some 5'7" white guy that's never played football before is joking and calling them Charmin tissue. So, no, you have to have that to your game if you want to be a successful football team. But that doesn't mean you have to go away from, for example, like the stuff that they do schematically, right? Their ability to make plays through the air, that's all great. But you have to have balance, and that's why you need to be physical. That's why people are harping on it. Yes, Alabama has won games, but the South Carolina game is probably the best example. We were not the most physical team in that football game. Go back and watch the tape. Smitty just watched it. He'll tell you. We were not the most physical team. We got bullied, but we were able to win the game because of turnovers. You had a pick six early on in the game. Remember, offense was struggling bad, but we had a pick six that put points on the board. Then we forced a fumble late in the game, right? Lenore Sellers fumbled the ball. Then we were able to score on, what was it like? Was it a jet sweep or something like that? I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, they just South Carolina just fell apart in the fourth quarter last year. I was at the game, and then at Alabama, Lenore again fumbled the football. We threw a pick six in Columbia, like in our own, backyard, and it just made two mistakes, cost them the game. It was like that, but that's part of the game. I understand what the guy's saying, but we just talking about the physicality of. But Alabama, yes, it is the object is to win the game, but what happened to them when it really matters in those big games that they're accustomed to playing in SEC championship and the playoffs. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah. But I get it, Mario. I get it when you're hearing people just pile on and say that, and they're not really explaining or giving detail or true reason. I get it, but listen to me. I'm the voice of reason, brother. You know that. Just take.
But I want to say to the chat, we're not talking about everybody else. I mean, and I said this last week. Don't be like politicians. Don't stop trying to look to what other leaders did. We're talking about Alabama. We're not talking about Texas. We're not talking about Oklahoma. We're talking about Alabama. So no, I'm not comparing. I'm not comparing Alabama to South Carolina or Texas. We're talking about. The question is, can Alabama be more physical? And we give them a response. Don't say, well, nobody's talking about Texas. Nobody's talking about this school. We're not talking about them.
No, but
now, if you want to turn the table, you want to go through the league. Well, let's then make a segment to say let's talk about South. And I'll tell you what I think about South Carolina.
Nobody's talking about South Carolina. We said South
Carolina.
No,
I'm just talking to the chat. Somebody was saying stop trying to look at other people. It ain't about other people. It's about Alabama.
No, you're missing the point though. You're falling for the trap that Alabama should not be able to have any flaws or do any wrong, but everybody else can, and we're just going to turn a blind eye. That's not right either. Alabama should have be held to a different standard in terms of winning national championships, all that. And of course, even to an extent, the foundation in which it was built, yes, the toughness, physicality, I get all that. And Alabama will be held to that standard. I'm cool with that. That's why I do it on the show. But I also think, and I know we don't cover these teams as much, but I don't think that's cool if you say Oregon or Texas or Georgia or Ohio State have also shown these things.
Because that wasn't a question.
It doesn't. What do you mean it wasn't a question?
The question was, can Alabama get back to
I'm not talking about us. I'm saying when we're talking about the national media is talking about different teams, they hold Alabama like they're not speaking about
because Alabama has been a standard. But then that's why I say, Corey, I say that Alabama is no longer that standard. No, so you're right. I think we should look at Alabama just a middle of the road team now. They're not a top. They're not a top shelf team. They're not. They're top 15, 20 team.
Yeah, but that's not middle of the road.
And I'm saying as far as the upper,
top 15 team,
it is in top 25. And if you look at the top 25, I put them somewhere in the middle.
I think realistically, with the 12-team playoff, as long as you're a top 15 team year in and year out. Now, granted, for Alabama, your goal should be more like top 7. Because of our history. But I'm just saying, realistically, if you're within that 12-team area and able to get in, Miami barely made it in the playoffs, and they ended up making it to the national championship game. I'm just saying, I think with today, now you have a 9-game conference schedule. There's a lot of different factors that you're dealing with now than you. Let me bring us back. Come on, man. Come on. Now you really get into the thick of it now. It's a good conversation. And welcome back into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. All right, we got about a minute left before we wrap things up on radio. I mean, I'll stay behind on the stream for a few minutes because this dude always.
We're talking about this dude.
They'll say this dude. You always Chase. He always has me having to explain a million things when we were talking about
Chase. Hold on, let's give Chase a say.
No, I'm saying
you can't. He can't stop. Shut up. The media ask Chase a question. He got like big quiet. Chase,
we got a minute.
You understand what I'm saying, Chase? You need some light in your studio because bro, you looking Nigerian up in there. I can't even see you.
Chase is lighter than you.
I know, but in that studio he ain't because he ain't got no lights up in there. he look.
Oh God!
Come on, Chase.
Well, it's good to have you back. I'll say that, but no, I understand what you're saying. You both are very passionate about what you commentate, and that's what's good for sports radio, and that's why one of the best shows here at Tide 100.9. I didn't say that, but it's just And that's okay. That's why we enjoy what you guys do. You're the Miller's Edge. We look for this kind of banter, and it gives insight to what people don't want to talk about. So I appreciate that a lot.
That's right. They don't want to talk about the real. Chase, my other son saw you at Target yesterday.
Why, bro? He did.
I know if he was getting some. I know he getting some underwear or buying some houseware, some Tupperware.
All right. That's that. It is time to get out of here. That'll do it for us on this Monday Madness edition. I'll hang on the stream for a little bit.
Target, Chase. I don't know.
All right. We'll be back for a Talking Tuesday right here tomorrow, same time, same place. The Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
Later, Chase.
You've been listening.
I mean, what? Somebody likes your shades, by the way. Hear me out. Hear me out real quick. I understand your point. I want to be clear. I understand your point. What I'm saying,
these are gooder or something. I got them at a golf.
They look like Oakleys.
No, they gooder, something like that.
I don't know.
Gooder. What I got in shades is all free. Everything I got is free.
But yeah, I understand your point, right? Like Alabama, like I said this other day, the fact that people still are even talking about Alabama, even though it's a little bit less, is a good sign, because when it gets to the point where people aren't really even mentioning Alabama, which it kind of slowly was creeping in that way, it seemed that way a little bit this year, that's when you really got to worry. Like, I have no problem for Alabama fans holding whoever it is at the helm to a high standard. They should, right? Like, because of the history, the way it's built. Now, I think it's also ideal to adjust and adapt your standards to be a little bit more reasonable, given that the SEC has moved to a 9-game schedule now. You got a little bit duped in that situation. There's a 12-team playoff, though, so it's easier to get in the playoffs. My thing is, and I said this from the get-go, how Ohio State, they hired Ryan Day. He had them competing every year to make a run. I think that's very realistic, and I think that's a healthy standard to have. I know it sounds weird seeing Alabama at 6th in the conference, whatever, but you got good teams in this conference. And as long as you're in the hunt to make a playoff run, I think that's the most important.
But let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck for the chat, because
all right, go ahead.
Alabama, much respect of what Nick Saban accomplished, right? I ain't going back to the Bear and all that. That was before I even whatever. But much respect, and I've been around that program and understand the program from Nick Saban. I'm friends with a lot of coaches, even till this day, right? And I know how they done things. And I've done it, and I don't say that from a braggadocious, but I've played it, been around the most outstanding players, coaches in America I've done this thing. So when I look at this team, Alabama right now, with Kalen DeBoer, it is so different. And let me just say this, not personal. This is not personal, so don't take it this way. Kalen DeBoer is soft mentally, in my opinion. Meaning his practices, how he runs his organization is soft. I'll always say this. Players take on the personality of their coach. And if you have a coach that's leading you and his expectations are here of you, his expectations are here of nutrition, here from weight room, here from football, here. Meaning Nick Saban had high expectations. Everybody that's associated with Alabama football in the building. I preach about this, and I work, and I do this with my men today that I work with in my ministry, that we should aspire to be excellent in every single area. And I got that whole mindset from Nick Saban. I talk about when they did fall short, Nick Saban would always say, "Don't waste a failure." I thought that was great. I thought, man, I can use that in life. Like, we trip up, we fall short of God's glory, you mess up. Sometimes you get back up. Don't stay there. If you got a destination and you hit a pothole and have a flat tire, you don't mean that your trip is over. It might have held you back as far as time a little bit, but change the tire. and you get up and you keep driving, you keep going towards your destination. That's life. That's football, right? All these things that Nick Saban taught, and those players, if they listen to you now, they listen to the Ruben Foster, any guy that you've had on there, they still have that mindset right now because that was drilled into them, and they use it in life today. I look at Kalen DeBoer. We went down there a couple of times, been around. I looked at his program. I saw it up close and personal. Nice guy, very good dude. But man, it's a soft program. It's that West Coast mentality that's coming to down the dirty South, where when I joke and I say cornbread, collard greens, and neck bones versus, fish tacos. They're two different mindsets, right? And it doesn't mean that the other can't be successful, but if we keep it in a buck, they're soft. That's why you see them not finishing. You don't see kids on the sideline get mad when something bad happens on the field. You don't see young men on the sideline yelling and screaming. That's why the last time I saw that was, what that kid named Malachi or somebody like that? And the coach told him to come out. Yeah. He showed to me that the game meant something to him. If I'm being honest, the game for a lot of these players don't mean them as much. And again, I can go on. We can do a whole other podcast where I think money and NIL has influenced that. But that's what I see with this program. And until he shows me something different. Nick Saban lost games, but very seldom will we come on the show and say, boy, they got dominated in the trenches. They got their A kicked. We don't say that. We might say, well, but they got out coached, or they may have gotten out schemed, right? Because they weren't used to what I was talking about with the 49ers versus the Giants in playoffs in 1993, how we were out schemed, but they weren't more physical. We might have said that for Nick Saban's group, but we very seldom when we say, man, the other team was just so much more physically dominating. We didn't say that. So, but we say this a lot about his football team, Kalen DeBoer. Now, I've set up after this. One thing that athlete, a coach that you don't want to hear is that. You don't want to hear that you're soft. You don't want to hear.
Told me that in my first training camp when I was here.
Who told you that?
Lance Thompson. He was like, you couldn't bust a grape. I'm like, brother, I'm 210 pounds playing outside linebacker.
But you still didn't have to be soft.
Fam,
you still could have stuck your head and then tried. But my point is,
no, don't try, no. I'll be the first one to tell you, I was not the most physical football player when I first got here. There's no denying that. I was 215 pounds. I was going against in half-line run drills a converted defensive lineman, Brandon Green, who was 270 pounds playing tight end, who had 50-plus pounds on me in a 6 technique that I never played coming out of high school. So, yeah, if you want to consider that soft, yeah, sure. But no, don't make it seem like I wasn't trying. No. I didn't have the mass or the strength to really hold my ground. So that's different. The mentality.
Well, I'd have went in there and I'd have took out their knees. That's what I would have did. Oh, because you bigger than me. Yes, sir. Before you drill me in that dirt,
and I had to do it in the dirt, bro. That's what you like.
We were talking about me, Greg Lloyd, Seth Jones, just weeks ago.
First of all, you can't cut no.
When Eric Allen and Eric Williams and the Hogs and do on them OTs, which means off tackle plays, and when they coming at you 700 pounds, bro, and I was strong and physical. But I couldn't run through 700. But what I did was I found out how to chop. Coach said, you got to get 2.
This is practice. And then I would get
I ain't long arming. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to take that inside guy and I'm going to run through his thigh and I'm going to flip
you
it.
Just be talking. So
that's what I'm going to do.
You
that's
can't
what I'm
do that half-line drill. Half-line drills, you got to guard, tackle, tight end, and they're literally just half-line run drill. There's no chop blocking anybody. That's a cardinal sin. If I chop block somebody, Coach Saban would have ripped my helmet off my head via my face mask and kicked me out of practice. It was it was a learning curve. I just had to learn how to use different technique to try to be better. But at the end of the day, I had to get bigger and stronger. But like I said, I have no problem saying that because what I did is by the time my junior, senior year came, totally different story. So reason I'm bringing that up is just saying you can you can because someone was asking, is it too late? No, I mean, even you can have guys and really teach that and instill that in them. You can. I mean, it's a lot easier when you have the right guys naturally. Taking a selfie? What are you doing, man? What is going on? Anyway, well, here, answer a couple of these questions real quick. Smitty,
all right, I got to get out of here because I got to eat and I got to.
All right, we do that.
Let's go. Let's go. No, let's go. Give it to me.
If the board saw, how did the team bounce back from Florida State win at Georgia despite having bad lines?
We already explained that.
Yeah, I was about to say I would. Now, if you want to say from a mentality standpoint, you got to give them credit, though. I mean, to have the resiliency to come back from behind like 17-0 on the road to Oklahoma, that's impressive. Bouncing back from losing badly to Florida State and kind of rallying the troops and then doing some good stuff, like that's why for me, my definition is like I'm not like you haven't heard me just say, "Oh, these guys are so." I don't think they're like this. The way that guy from the newspaper described it, like. There's some grit to them, right? And I think Coach DeBoer does a good job getting them to believe and buy in. But I will say I do agree with what my dad's saying about if you're going to compare him to like Coach Saban and those style of coaches like Kirby and kind of how they run things. Like I'm just going to be honest with you because I mean I've been up there. I know the dynamic and how the way he runs the whole thing. I'm not even just talking about practice. I'm just saying like the way the stuff is set up. It's a lot different than the way it was before. It just is. That's just me being honest. You can take that for whatever it's worth.
Listen. Go to Kirby's that one halftime thing that they call him saying. I mean, that's what I'm talking about with mindset.
I mean, if I'm gonna be honest with you, there was a time in 2024 where Coach DeBoer was giving a post-game speech. I shouldn't say it's like this. Never mind.
Listen, my point is this. Now, I will say this.
Some players kind of had to speak up.
I will say this, that the players are soft too. Okay. I think I look at a lot of high school football. I covered it when I was a sports director here at the Fox affiliate in Columbia, 5 years. I created a high school show. We did high school football. This is back then. This is like back when you were playing, when I was doing this. I went out and made sure we did a high school game live. We got big production and broadcasting, and we created games of the week. And well, I'll say this because I paid attention. And from then to now, that when I go out to do, when I speak to kids and watch practices, and I'm like, these jokers here, they're really soft. They're not tough. These kids have a soft.
Like just football in general.
Just football in general. They're not physical. Like they whine. Oh, it's hot. Coach got us out here. It's 90 degrees. Oh, just the mindset of these kids. So I don't really put it all on the coach, to be honest with you. I think the culture. I think football in itself is a soft sport. The rules have made the game soft. So there's no more that kind of toughness anymore because, one, coaches can't demand certain things from these kids else they're going to get in trouble, right? A kid will text, they'll film the coach cussing in the meeting room, send it to mama, and then he going to transfer or they're going, it's like, and I know a lot of these coaches, they are walking on eggshells a lot of the time. The kid comes in and say certain things, how do they respond? So football, I think the sport in itself has just changed, football, I'm saying. And, maybe I'll back off a little bit with Kalen DeBoer because of that some, but he's already been like that. So when you got that mindset, like Kalen DeBoer, then you got these kids who, they're prima donnas, all of them now. They're prima donnas. We giving kids $6 million and they ain't even finished high school yet. I mean, what do you think you're going to get? You think you're going to get a tough kid that's salivating from his mouth?
I would
that's trying to say, I'm going to get that bag? No.
I would argue Georgia and Kirby struggle to have the same level of competitiveness.
No, they do. But they still
have it more than others.
They still can go out there and find a certain kind of kid. Like for me, if I'm recruiting, I gotta know I want a certain kind of kid. And I'm not going off a star what this recruiting service is saying. I'm going to watch a game and I'm going to see if a kid got a little dog in him. I might have to take a 3-star, 2-star. But if I can say he got the length, we can put weight on him, make him stronger, and he got some dog in him, I'll take that kid because he'll take coaching. He's going to be excited that he's got a scholarship, right? He might get the average when it comes to NIL, the bottom line in it, but he is just looking for an opportunity to be great. Give me that kid. I promise you, if you let me get out here and watch some kids that is not getting all the love, and their huddle tape is not getting all the likes. They're not getting all the shares, but he got some dog in him. He runs to the football. He busts grapes up. He smashes and squishes them. He'll run through the neck of an offensive tackle. I can see that. And I can say, that's the kind of mental makeup I want. Now, if he got any kind of measurables, I can work with that kid. That's the kid I'm looking for. Now, not all of them are going to be that way, but I'm hoping that I can get a lot of them that way and make that the nucleus of my team. Toughness. You know who had that kind of team? Indiana. Because they got guys undersized, didn't have the measurables, had to go to James Madison University, didn't run 4.34. They had to go there, and he brought a lot of them dudes like that Alabama would have never recruited, that Oregon would have never recruited, that Texas would have never recruited, and he brought them guys in there, and he gave them a good, he gave them a good system in which to work, and guess what they did? He brought them to Indiana, Hoosier Nation, a basketball school. The movies are made of their basketball, not of their football team, and they go run through all these blue blood programs like they had diarrhea. They ran straight through them. So that tells me something.
But that's where coaching, culture, system, scheme, and things like that come into play. So when somebody was asking about, I think Smitty mentioned why not look at the players. It's a combination of both, right? You need your players to be physical players and have the mentality that he's described, but then you also have to be able to put them in proper positions to be successful and make sure your development and your culture that you have established is backing that up as well, right? Here's an example. So when we're talking about like physicality, right? Because y'all talking about soft and how, like, this is the first play South Carolina game. Just watch these two D tackles for South Carolina. Watch our offensive line. Look at the line of scrimmage. Look at the movement. That's
what we call playing on the other side. When you hear me say playing on the other side of the line of scrimmage, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Right. Now, granted, I can't remember. We end up just running this zone with jet sweep concept. I can't play this too much because I don't want to have any issues. But I just want to show y'all when people are saying soft, or at least when certain people, like when he's describing it, this is what he's talking about. You're talking about in the trenches, right? I mean, South Carolina's defensive line, I mean, and this is what was weird to me. That's Dewberry, who's a big, physical, strong guy, right? That's Jaden Roberts, who's a big, physical, strong guy. That leads me to believe, because those are two of the biggest, strongest guys we had on the line last year. This is more of a technique thing. That's why I'm hopeful that a guy like Adrian Clem can come in and maybe make a little bit of a difference, because ain't no reason why your two most physical offensive linemen are just, and that was like all game. I mean, you go watch the Indiana tape.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
Same kind of deal. Hold on, let me skip through this because I can't play it. Let me see. Go to the next clip.
It is Alabama.
This next one's not bad. Hold on. Not bad, but Dewberry not finished though. But same kind of. But here's another example, right? So we're supposed to have a deuce block right here, right? They're comboing this defensive tackle. Like even like it's this little stuff. I think this was 93. Y'all got some good players in those defensive line. I like 93 a lot. But we're supposed to be deucing here and climbing up to this backer, right? What I don't understand is, and I noticed this when I was watching like the Oklahoma tape. I mean, we're over here supposed to be doing double teams, and we are getting no push off the ball. That is like like D tackles. That's what they least look forward to, right? You got 300-something pound guys coming to double team, like. And it's just a matter of really execution, right? The guy who's supposed to be on that hip and climbing up, like we don't get, like he's not really helping. He's just kind of putting hands on. And now it's same thing. Like you just look like whoever that D tackle is for South Carolina. like all game. And you see just the issues that it causes. Now, I mean, the sniffer who's working across, I mean, he's damn near about to trip on the feet of the guard who's getting knocked 2 yards back. That's what we mean by they weren't very physical. Like, there weren't many times you cut on the tape and you see the offensive line really bullying people off the ball. Like, you just didn't see it. Like the first series against Florida State, where we were running it well, I feel like that was probably like one of the few times you could like, okay, all right, this looks good. And then other times it's just like, man, what's going on? Right.
Well, listen, man, it's maybe when I get my book out, I'm gonna go hand it to Caleb and the boy and say, hey, man, I'm gonna get the guys a book. I'm gonna speak to your team.
He don't want to hear nothing from you. What you be talking?
Yeah, that's the problem. That's where pride. See, pride comes before a fall.
I'm kidding. Yeah, it was 93. But see, and this was crazy. This is Dewberry and Caden Proctor on a deuce block. They're supposed to be on a deuce block right here, right? He's going to hit that, bang that.
Well, they don't know what a deuce block is. You need to tell them
it's a combo block. So they're on a double team. They got a double team. Boom. See him bang that hip, right? And he's going to climb up to this backer right here, this front side linebacker, 0. But see, it's just like, it's a lack of effort. 93 goes nowhere. There's like, bro, Caden Proctor is 365 pounds and Dewberry is like 335. And they are big.
Getting paid millions of dollars now.
In 93, 93 don't even have to drop to a knee, right? That's a technique.
He's in the league too, by the way. He's both them guys.
He's a good player. But I'm just saying he's not, but see, he does a great job. Like, this is what you teach. Like, when you get those doubles, just like if somebody's going to jump you, better beat one guy up. He does a nice job. He's banging with Dewberry so much that he gets them on separate levels, and now they don't even have they're not really getting any movement.
So now the defense, they got to play this like an option. See here, because tight end outside release, you got your end here. You see 46. He's looking at the quarterback, the dive play, because the inside backer. So if this guy blocks, he did. Now the safety, he's a filler. Now they tie hands the ball off.
So making the play though,
93. Yeah.
He's the guy who was getting double teamed, the guy who was on a combo block. He's making a play. When I did the breakdown with Oklahoma, same thing, 65, right? And it was, matter of fact, same side. It was Proctor and somebody. Like, so again, and it's not because these are big physical dudes. In my opinion, I think coaching would help that a lot. I really do. That's why I think, at least I'm hopeful. I think Clem could maybe make a difference, right? Like, clean those up, because there's just no excuse for that, man. Ain't no reason to do like Caden Proctor with that, all the skill set he has. Y'all can't get no movement on that dude on a double team. Can't have that. Anyway, I threw that on the screen just to show. So when people are saying soft, that's what they're like. That's kind of what they're describing. Indiana, you'll see the same thing. Georgia, you'll see the same thing. I mean, if I pull up those games, it's a common theme. And the next part is when you look at the guys that we have this year, like, I think they're better. Like Michael Carroll, Will Sanders, I think those guys move better than some of those guys we just saw on the interior. But are they going to be well, Michael Carroll, that's different. I think he's going to hold his own. But Will Sanders a little bit on the smaller side. I mean, he holds his own, but like, I think he'll be better in space. But is he going to be better at getting movement? Technique might help him out there, but just from like physical tool standpoint, there's not, you know what I mean? Same with like Racing Delgatti. I don't know. We'll see. But they did bring.
Well, the time, listen, we'll see with the new guys. I hope the
guy. We'll see. I don't know.
Transfer portal guys will be what they think. I mean, I hope Alabama does well. I hope Alabama proves everything that I say wrong. I really do. I don't mind saying I'm wrong. I don't mind saying, I got this one wrong. But I go by what I see up to this point. And from the average, and I'll get off after this, from what Caleb and the boys done, is for most people, 90% of people in college football, that would be like, hey, he's doing a great job. Hey, he already done got a raise, right? He already done got bumped up in price. No championship, no SEC championship, and he still got a raise. So, but when you look at the fan base, they're so used to winning at a high clip with Coach Saban and being the dominant team. They hadn't looked anything. And we talked about this. Will the first guy come in who replaces the GOAT. Coach Saban is the greatest to ever do it in college football. It ain't even close. Not even close. He's the greatest to ever do it. And I give him kudos for even accepting the job, to say, I'm not afraid. But, boy, you better know that criticism is going to be, it's going to be there. And right now, even though he's won some games, he's been to the playoffs, he's been to the SEC championship game, he's beaten Georgia. There's a lot of good things on there to say, okay, I like that, but but when the bad is bad, it's bad. And he got to figure out a way, even if he loses, at least be competitive, right? Like, don't let your bad be so bad that people question the toughness like we're doing, question your coaching, question your scheme. And that's been the problem, because even though those 4, 5, 6 games that we've seen, that's just been very disturbing. And that's what he has to fix, that he's got to stop having these disturbing games where they look like they're the middle of the road SEC team. Yeah, they sometimes be good and look like, okay, they're top level team, but there's been a lot of times where he hasn't. And when you go back and look at the 17, 18 years of Nick Saban's career, losing an unranked.
But I think we got to stop saying compared to. That's Coach
Not saying,
Saban.
but that's what
I'm just
fan
saying,
base is going to do.
It's
That's
clearly,
what fan base.
it's
It ain't just me saying it.
He's
I'm
not
saying
Coach
the fan base is
Saban.
going to do it.
Nobody is coaching right now is Coach Saban. So I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
No, but I'm saying,
I get
but
what you're
to be
saying. Like,
an elite
they're
coach,
measuring it. They're measuring
Coach
it.
Saban in 17, 18 years had like one loss against, I think, one loss, maybe two against unranked teams.
It was like ULM.
It wasn't a lot of them.
Or
Okay, I don't know if I'm exact on the number. There weren't a lot of, and Coach Saban never got embarrassed like that, except for that one championship game with Clemson. That was horrible, but that wasn't even on him. That because his players, they're meeting with agents and all of them. I was out there and I seen it. I was in line. I talked to Kirby. Kirby's like, man, this team ain't ready to play. They're about getting paid, and they couldn't control that. This one thing was, Quentin and all them dudes. I mean, it was embarrassing. It was actually, y'all just had won a national championship the year before. You got a freshman playing quarterback at Clemson and Fabio. And y'all let Fabio look like he was. It was embarrassing. The quarterback at Clemson. That's at Jacksonville. I call him Fabio with all that long hair.
Yeah, I don't know. How do you coach this out?
Trevor Lawrence. It was Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence.
So my point.
Tell me how you coach this up, because I don't even know what you tell a guy. Like, you're running pin and pull right here. Cuevas is responsible. He's going to block down. Supposed to. They were stunting inside right here. How you block that up?
And they run into each other.
Well, but they do, right? Which is stupid. They're on again. That's terrible execution.
Well, to me, Cuevas is supposed to be blocking down on the end, but he stunts inside. That's why.
I don't. You're missing what I'm saying. I was being. It was a rhetorical question. I'm saying Dylan Stewart's like the athleticism. I'm saying there's nothing you could even do. Like, Dylan Stewart's athleticism is pretty much why they run into each other. Do you not see the way he just dipped like that?
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, I was joking, like, how do you even coach that up? The fact that, again, they're running pin and pull pretty much, and that dude's already in the backfield stunting inside is crazy. Crazy athleticism. That dude's a good player, but I'm gonna be honest with you. He has not lived up as good as he is in terms of the tools and potential. He should have so much more production. I don't understand why
he's not mentally tough. Y'all talking about? I'm talking about my team. He's soft mentally. He can't get a little bruise on his thigh. He's standing on the sideline with his helmet off. I mean, like, dude, he's got to toughen up. He's got crazy talent, but his mental is not there.
Look at this.
He'll never. I don't care about that. He'll never make it in the NFL, because you know why? He'll have one of them kind of plays, and then 15 plays he's standing over there with his hands on his hips. And that's what I'm talking about.
The team is going to take him in the top 10.
Yeah, they're going to take him. Just like Kane Prop, they're going to take him. There's plenty of tape to say not to take him. But he does just enough to make you take him. I understand all that. And they hoping that they can change him or they can coach him out of the situation. I understand the league and how that all works. But it's a problem when you know that this guy could be just dominating the game. Very seldom does he does that.
Guy.
He has 6'5" because he's standing on the sideline most of the time. 46, the guy, that when they played Alabama, I was on the sideline. I was in the defensive line huddle. I was telling him 46 how they can beat them tackles because they can't move. They was susceptible to the inside moves. And I was like, dude, they just that's who they are. And they did that. And they started moving. I said, like, look out, they got a wide 9 over here on Proctor.
Well,
That's what you want.
This was 2nd and 17. I was about to say, maybe we need to take a page out Tennessee's book, split everybody out wide, get the
wide 9s, make them get uncomfortable.
No. I'm talking offensively. I'm saying for our running game because look, you spread everybody out. We're in trips. You can't see it because it's the end zone copy, but we're in trips, right? We end up running a draw. Whoops. We end up running a draw. Get everybody rushing up. Feel like you said, yeah, get them in a wide 9, right? They're trying to get their rush on. They're getting greedy. All right, look at those box numbers. You got 5 for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders. We got 5 offensive linemen. We're out running. Got some good blocking right here. But who's that? Horton, 1. I wish I could play this more because I don't want us to get in trouble. Anyway, Jam making guys miss, right? Hurdling over some little, guys trying to bite the ankles. Hey, listen, I'm saying maybe we're talking so much about our run game. Maybe we need to. That's what Tennessee looks for the numbers. Now, Tennessee will still run the football down your throat. But they do a good job of getting those favorable numbers advantages in the box, put you in conflict. Maybe that's what we should try to do.
Yeah. I wasn't coaching against Bama. When I'm on the sideline, I always try to help young players and tell them what I see. It wasn't just because it's against Bama. Just I've done that many times. And that's sometimes the advantage of having former player NFL guys on the sidelines because you can see certain things. You say, man, try to work the inside, make him set his feet, then work him back. Young guys, they're not getting coached this type of things that you can tell guys the little nuances of the game. They're not getting coached like that. And so that's all I'm saying. I would do the same thing if I was on Bama and say, hey, man, do this, try this, but again, they're not getting a lot of this coaching. A lot of coaching is not based on NFL coaching and what we see and I promise you it's not because I got to go to this. We just had a conversation with a coach right now who's a coordinator at Nevada. The guy from Florida now is the head coach at Nevada, UNLV. What's his name? Who's very successful, Mississippi State at Florida. Yeah, his coordinator, right? And Gunther Cunningham, he's the NFL coordinator. And we sat there one night, again, in Hershey, Pennsylvania. It's what we do. We smoke cigars. It's me, it's Keith Byers, it's Seth Joyner, it's Greg Lord, it's Pete Shaw, it's Patrick Sapp, and a lot of decades of NFL. And we talking about like defense and how to play defense and why defense are unsuccessful now and how you can't jam. We were taught to mug guys and tight ends and you don't let them off the line of scrimmage and things like that. And then he just comes out of nowhere, Gunther Cunningham, and jumps in the conversation. He was just trying to tell us about all this jet motion and how you can't stop this stuff. And we were just, and tough men, you have talked about how you can't play a regular against nickel, this and that. And I'm like, and all of us are like, guys, we did it all the time. But we have predetermined when guys shift, it ain't different. We had guys.
It is, bro. It's different. Y'all old.
So you'd have been the same one. You've been Dr. Cunningham and been chopped.
Right. He's actually living it right now. I'm telling you right now, if y'all old heads tried to play defense the way y'all played defense against Tennessee's offense, the way they spread you out. All right.
I don't even go into that, but the point is, this dude got chopped up so bad, he had tears. I actually felt, and Pepper Johnson was there, my teammate. Bro, Pepper was like, you the effing problem with football. I'm talking about, it got heated. I mean, because this dude was trying to tell us about football, and like, dude, y'all got all this stuff, but we have,
what I want?
We had stuff already put in for movements, jet sweeps. We know who we got. We know when the line shift.
Jet sweeps and orbit motions and stuff like they do now.
We did run, but the Washington Redskins changed and moved more than anybody.
Okay,
like the Houston Oilers, the Buffalo Bills. They did various of this stuff. I mean, but
Not
we
in the
had
same
stuff
way you
in
see
place.
it now.
But technique wise, defense today can't play. They don't use any technique. They open up the gate. They don't jam. They don't put their hands on receivers. They let guys run down the field. How you gonna stop a tight end and you don't just let them go flying down the seam? You don't jam. You don't reroute. You don't push the guys outside the hash. I mean, there's things and principles that are not taught today. And they sit there and go, well, this guy screaming in motion in front, and doing a rail, which is, like a up and out and up and things like, guys, the coaching has gone down. And I'll say this, and we'll talk about this tomorrow or the next day. Coaching in college football and in the league has gone way down. Everybody is about going to, I think a lot of these coaches hadn't played, and hear me what I'm saying, they go take pages out of John Madden and, XYZ on buttons y'all hit. It's like, nah, but learn how to play. Footwork, hand placement, how to defeat blocks, things that get back to the fundamentals. It works. It does work. And I think coaching has been a problem. And coaching now in the SEC, there's not the coaching when you played. Coaching's gone down. It's gone down. And that's just a fact. The game has changed. I got to go eat lunch. God bless you all. It's been a good show. Christian Des Zulu was at South Carolina. He was a backup to
No, he said, how
Dylan
was
Stewart.
Des Zulu? He was
1.5 sacks in about 3 years. So 1.5 sacks in 3 years.
Yeah, I don't know. I would love to see a staff comprised.
But I think at Alabama, if they use him right, he's long. He looks just like Dylan Stewart. I mean, South Carolina have recruited well at D linemen. They've so well that Lane Kiffin stole our coach. So that's one of the areas that South Carolina did do extremely well on the D line. We got a lot of guys in the league, and LSU came in and stole the coach, which that's on Shane Beamer letting him get up out of here like that. But it's what it is.
Yeah, we'll talk more. We'll have some more debate on this whole football thing, because I'm just telling you, if y'all had a staff and y'all try to use only those old school methods, I'm just telling you, right?
T. Smitty said Big Ten have better coaches. I agree. That's why the Big Ten is winning championships.
I'm not mad at that. All right. We got to get out of here. Chat, appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, hit that like button on the way out. You guys know, subscribe if you aren't already. Stay up to date with everything. We got more videos coming y'all's way as we gear up for training camp coming up right here on the Miller's Edge. Hope you guys have a great
when they report.
I think like first week of August, something like that. A little bit over a week, maybe. Or maybe about a week or so. Yeah, about a week.
Kayla, the boy, I want to come to a practice. I want my credential. Let me see for myself. Clip this. If you got StreamYard, clip this. Kevin the boy, this is the pastor page. I want to come and watch practice. We want to do a show live from outside the practice, like you let everybody else do it. How about let one of your very own do it? That'd be awesome. Just saying. From concerned friend. Ciao.
Good luck with that. Just so you can get on afterwards and say how soft the practice was.
If they're soft, give me a reason. Give me a reason to say how great they are. That's all you gotta do. Just give me a reason to say how great you are, how tough you are, how physical you are, how smart you are. You don't want me to say it, then give me something to say differently.
I just can't wait for the season so we actually can be discussing what's actually happened. Stop going off of last year. But first scrimmage is going to be good though. Easily can.
I can't wait to see what your boy quarterback.
I can get you on a scrimmage. That's no problem. Now, bringing you to a practice, I ain't gonna lie to you.
I don't want to go to no practice. It's boring. I mean, I don't want to see them out there going through tackling dummies. I mean, I don't even want to see. I ain't getting anybody getting a scrimmage because it's open to the public.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Hell no. Why would they do that? No, y'all's are.
Nah, they some. Oh, I can go down there anytime. I mean,
no, I'm saying that's not open to the public though.
I can go out there any practice. I just let them know I'm coming down there.
Yeah, I mean, I could do that too, but I'm saying that's not a scrimmage. I mean, that's not open public though.
And I'm very
don't know.
critical when I need to be critical of South Carolina. I just tell the truth. I mean, it is not personal. It's just what it is.
Mm.
And by the
All right,
way,
I need to eat.
Ryan
I'm
Clark
tired.
shouldn't have been fined. He was the best analyst they had, man. That's
Oh yeah,
ridiculous.
I'm sure you feel that way because y'all act just alike.
Because we know what we talking about.
No, Ryan Clark is good at his job, but you can't.
He was the best. He was the best
Yeah,
at
but
ESPN.
no, he when he was breaking down football, but he liked to be too controversial. I'm just saying, like, what
He
do you
ain't
expect?
controversial. I mean,
What are you talking
it's
about?
bad.
What are you
It's
talking about?
bad
Are
when
you talking
you
about
can't have an
RG3's
opinion
wife,
these
bro?
days.
Like, what are you talking about? It's not an opinion. You don't talk like,
What is
bro.
about his wife? Is she white?
Yeah, that's stupid. Like
Yeah, no, that's stupid. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. You can't have multiple moments or him jumping to judgment on.
Well, didn't they get rid of
on
RG3
something
too
that.
back in the day?
But that if it's based off of talent, I think Ryan Clark, in terms of breaking football down, does a good job. But when you bring up conversations like he had been doing too much of, I'm just saying, like,
I think it's just if you're in sports, just stay out. Like you can, if you're on
Just
your own
talk-
platform, say what you want. But if you're on the TV,
if you're sitting
then
on
you have to be
ESPN's
considered.
desk,
Yeah,
and he
you
would
got to
always
be
make
smart.
it a mission to after a game. Oh, I want to address this because, bro, like I understand you feel like you're doing something for social justice or whatever it is, but like, bro, like you said, do it on the pivot.
Do it on your platform.
If you do it on ESPN's platform, you're giving them a reason to have a reason.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
It is what it is. But hey, maybe we can get them
But
on.
that's our platform, so I can say what I want to say.
But just please remember that I also signed something as being a contracted worker with the radio team. That
I said I can say with some
but I'm saying just keep in mind that it's not necessarily like, encouraged to go be too, you know what I mean? Like I can be honest and critical. I've done it in my post game show that I do, but I'm also they're not.
What's the guy named Graham? What's the guy you work with, Graham?
Gray.
Gray.
No. When we lost to Oklahoma, we talked about disappointing situations that happened in the game. Yeah, that's fine. But I'm just saying that coaches stink.
Please.
That's probably not. You
I
say
never
man,
said
please.
coach.
I enjoy it.
I ain't one time ever said Caleb Boy stinks. Now I might have said.
I didn't say him.
Somebody else.
Assistant coaches. You've definitely said
I will say that. Yeah.
In the past, you've definitely said. All right, we gotta get out of here.
And I'll be right. I'll be right about that too.
I would argue my takes have been. I feel like I got the most accurate takes out of anybody.
Sure.
Check my receipts. I've been right on schedule.
Oh yeah, what the people? Yeah,
predicting how we finish.
Yeah,
I've been right. I predicted the issues at Florida State. No, I'm serious. Go check my receipts, please. Pull up any other person that covers Alabama and compare it to my takes and predictions. Please. I guarantee you. I'm spot on when it comes to this stuff, man. I watch a lot of tape, bro. Watch a lot of tape, man. Talk to a lot of people. All right. We'll be back tomorrow. I got to eat. I'm tired. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. We'll see you guys there.